Namaskar, and a very warm welcome to all the guests who have joined us on this occasion today. I am Vatsala Misra, and I am privileged to serve as the compeer for the Institute Foundation Day celebrations today, the 2nd of November, which marks the completion of 61 years of the registration of the Institute under the Societies Act in 1959. On behalf of Professor Abhay Karandikar, Director, Indian Institute of Technology Kanpur, the entire institute community, and on my behalf, I extend a very warm welcome to Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Chairman Board of Governors, IIT Kanpur, the Honorable Chief Guest, Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. It is also my privilege to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished alumni, faculty members, staff and students, and all other well-wishers, including the press. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for having taken out the time from your busy schedules to share with us this momentous occasion here at IIT Kanpur. On behalf of the Institute, I would like to also congratulate and extend a very warm welcome to the recipients of the Institute Fellow Awards, Distinguished Alumnus Awards, Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Award, Distinguished Service Awards, and Young Alumnus Awards, who are joining us today from across the globe for the 61st Foundation Day function, the 2nd of November today, 2020. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, India is a land of amazing, thought-provoking, and deep-meaning traditions. One of the traditions is the invocation of Ma Saraswati, the goddess of learning and knowledge, and seek her blessings at the start of an auspicious occasion with the Saraswati Vandana. I now call upon Mrs. Amravati Biswas to kindly recite the Vandana, and accompanying her on the violin, we have Dr. Devanand Pathak.
चतुर्भुजे चंद्रकलावतंसे कुचोन्नते
Thank you, Mrs. Biswas and Devananji. Ladies and gentlemen, now without taking any more of your precious time, I would like to invite Professor Abhay Karandikar to kindly welcome our honorable guests on this momentous occasion and share his address.
Honorable Chief Guest, Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, our distinguished alumnus and Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, respected Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Chairman, Board of Governors, IIT Kanpur, members of the Board of Governors, members of the faculty, staff, students, institute fellows, recipients of Distinguished Alumnus Award, Distinguished Services Award, Young Alumnus Award, and Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Award. Ladies and gentlemen, I heartily welcome you all to the Foundation Day celebrations of the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur. Let me first begin by congratulating all the awardees of Distinguished Alumnus Award, Distinguished Services Award, Young Alumnus Award, and Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Award. I would also like to congratulate Institute Fellows who are being felicitated today. The last 6 months have been truly extraordinary times that we have witnessed. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused widespread disruptions. At IIT Kanpur also, our academic and research have been disrupted in a major way. Even though the times are extraordinary, it is yet again the time of the year when we celebrate the foundation of our esteemed institute, our alma mater. It is for the first time that we are forced to have a virtual ceremony on the occasion of the Institute Foundation Day. I am indeed saddened that we cannot host all of you on our beautiful campus to celebrate this momentous occasion. Certainly, we are missing the eventful get-together and interactions that we used to have. As you all know, the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, was established on 2nd November 1959 under the technical assistance of Kanpur Indo-American Program (KAYAP). It was declared to be an institute of national importance by the Government of India under the Institutes of Technology Act. The institute's formative years were guided by the visionary leadership of passionate educationist, Professor P.K. Kelkar, as the founding director. The strong foundation set forth by his vision continues to shape our path. Despite the fact that this year has been extraordinary in every sense of the word, the team IITK, comprising of its outstanding faculty and dedicated staff member and students, continues to work hard to translate the vision of our founders to a reality. As you all know, due to the ongoing pandemic situation, academic sessions on the campus are disrupted, similar to the conditions all around the world. Several proactive measures were undertaken to ensure that the disruption in the middle of the semester in March 2020 did not hamper the academic activities. Like all other educational institutions, we also have to resort to remote teaching even in this semester. Professor T.V. Prabhakar and his team have pioneered the development of MOOCit online platform, and this platform is being used for remote teaching by a large number of IIT Kanpur faculty. It is rightly said that difficult times test our strength and togetherness as a community. Since the teaching had to be shifted remotely to online mode, some students with a difficult economic background needed to be supported with laptop and broadband connections. In an attempt to achieve the same, one alumnus, one student fundraising drive was launched. I am indebted to our generous alumni all over the world who have contributed to the cause immensely. In this whole crisis, the most affected are our research scholars and postgraduate students, whose work entirely depends upon the experimental facilities inside a laboratory setup. In order to keep up with the time lost, and in an attempt to facilitate working conditions, Institute came up with a detailed plan for bringing our postgraduate students back to the campus in a phased manner. The first set of about 265 students have already arrived on the campus, and the next batch of around 222 students will also arrive soon. Further, I take this opportunity to share several initiatives that are being undertaken to strengthen our institute's academics in the long run. A proposal for e-masters in specialized areas such as data security, financial engineering, telecom, data analytics, that are perceived as emerging areas or that are in acute need of retraining has been approved by the Academic Senate. Our Senate has also recently approved the formation of a new department of cognitive sciences. You will also be glad to know that we are also considering proposal for the formation of one more department, namely Department of Sustainable Energy Engineering. Engineering technology innovations have been life-saving in medicine and healthcare since time immemorial. IIT Kanpur envisages bringing together the expertise of engineering technology, biomedical research, and clinical setup under a single umbrella to create a one-of-its-kind medical school and to produce outstanding professionals trained in state-of-the-art engineering technologies who can meet the profound healthcare needs of our country. With great pleasure, I would like to let you know that our Board of Governors recently approved the proposal to set up a super specialty hospital with medical research centers on the campus. We are undertaking multiple measures to increase the faculty strength. Following are some of the steps that are being undertaken: leveraging alumni networks to attract the quality applicants, increase the number of adjunct faculty from industry and leading universities abroad. A new cadre of faculty called Professor of Practice has been introduced to promote the industry-relevant research. And finally, we are also undertaking, several initiatives to make the campus and the institute attractive for the young talents to join the institute. Prevailing pandemic has led to widespread economic disruptions, plunging the country into economic recessions. Despite the tremendous challenge posed by this pandemic, the scale of contingency measures taken by the Indian government has been phenomenal. In response to the appeal of our Honorable Prime Minister of Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat for making our country self-reliant during COVID-19, faculty and researchers of IIT Kanpur responded with resolute by coming up with several innovations and research projects in a short span of time. Various challenging R&D projects, including the development of a disinfectant chamber, positive pressure respiratory systems, PPE kit, oxygen concentrator, nanofiber-based N95 mask, and several other R&D projects were undertaken. However, the most challenging of them was developing an indigenous mechanical ventilator by a consortium of IIT Kanpur faculty, alumni, industry experts, and our incubating company, Noka Robotics. The story of IIT Kanpur ventilator has shown how innovative medical products can be developed in India with passion and commitment. Apart from innovation and technological initiatives that are the hallmark of IIT Kanpur, the campus community also came forward to help the needy plight during these difficult times. In the last 5 years, the innovation ecosystem at IIT Kanpur has become one of the best ecosystems in an academic setting with several unique contributions and bagging multiple awards both at national and international levels. I am confident that the upcoming years will witness further growth and success. IIT Kanpur Research and Technology Park, Techno Park at IIT Kanpur, celebrated its first Foundation Day on 2nd March 2020. I am delighted that in a short period, Techno Park at IITK has established a considerable degree of success. So these times require strategic planning to raise funds substantially for the overall development of the institute. I am pleased to inform you that the Board of Governors of IIT Kanpur has approved the formation of the Indian Institute of Technology Kanpur Development Fund to be a Section 8 company under the Companies Act. The primary objective of IITK Development Fund is to provide a corporate and professional environment to effectively raise funds from alumni, corporates, trusts, foundations, and well-wishers, and to foster long-term and sustainable relationships with the patrons. I'm glad to let you know that our international collaborations have grown by leaps and bounds in the last years. In just 12 months, we have signed 11 MOUs with the leading international universities from Japan, Taiwan, USA, Finland, Australia, Jordan, Russia, Scotland, across multiple areas of academic and research collaborations, students exchange, and joint degree program. Rice University and IIT Kanpur have set up Rice IITK Collaborative Center, a one-of-its-kind center aiming towards impactful collaborative research in the area of sustainable energy, material science, water, and alternative fuels. IITK La Trobe Academy has been set up with the La Trobe University of Australia to create a globally recognized center for research in health, food, and water security. It is my great pleasure to reiterate that even with all the challenges during the pandemic time, it has indeed been an eventful year. My heartfelt congratulations to all the respective Institute Fellows and awardees of Distinguished Alumnus Award, Distinguished Services Award, Young Alumnus Awards, and Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Award. Undeniably, the outstanding IIT Kanpur alumni, with their spectacular achievements in various fields, continue to hold the Institute's flag flying higher and higher. With the hope to meet you someday on our beloved campus when things return to normal, stay healthy and stay safe. Thank you.
Now I would like to request Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Chairman Board of Governors, IIT Kanpur, to kindly say a few words to us.
Renowned Chief Guest, Professor K. Vijayaraghavan, Admired Director, Professor Abhay Karandikar, distinguished awardees, erudite academics, and alumni, dear students, staff, friends from the media. I am proudly privileged to be amongst you during the valedictory of the Diamond Jubilee of the existence of this premier institution. This is a momentous occasion to respect, to retrospect, and to reinvent. Firstly, let me join you to pay tributes to the visionary founder, Professor Purushottam Kashinath Kelkar. Way back in 1959, Kelkar ventured to build the fourth IIT at Kanpur, right from scratch, and create an MIT on the Ganges. There are several doyens to be remembered, especially for their perseverance to navigate through rather difficult days. The saga of the first 5 decades of this IIT are analytically stated by Professor S.R. Maharotra and P.P. Shah, as well as by Professor E.C. Subbarao. I did study them to imbibe the vision and the spirit of IITK at the start of my innings. Let me quote 2 important tenets that I picked up. One is Kelkar's vision of an engineering student. He is a person who did not simply use state-of-the-art knowledge, but could creatively analyze the situation and find alternative solutions. And that person to be a fully integrated human being, not just an engineering automation. The second, and more important, is the spirit of IITK as envisioned by Kelkar. One is the academic excellence, obviously. Then, a sense of freedom from old conventions and prescriptions. Freedom from barriers of all kinds, physical or intellectual. Spirit of adventure, spirit of equality, a democratic spirit among the faculty, and transparency between the faculty and the students and to the outside world. Friends, what is that we don't have today. We have a sprawling campus, splendid facilities for academics, athletics, and arts. Our academia has been evolving rapidly in the frontiers of basic sciences, engineering sciences, humanities, and social sciences. Several features of the multidisciplinary education and research enunciated in the NEP 2020 are already ingrained in our system. We ensure high standards of excellence in teaching and impactful research. We continue to be forerunners in several emerging domains of interdisciplinary research. We have more than 450 faculty, world class, and several of them decorated for excellence. The brand IIT-K is quite strong globally. We have a global network of mighty and generous alumni. They are in influential positions in government and in corporates. Many of our alumni have contributed immensely to the institute, and many more are eager to help more. We have started many initiatives for involving alumni in realizing the vision of Kelkar. We look forward to the continued support of our alumni. We build and run national centers of excellence here. We created a few novel institutions as Section 8 companies, and a mega initiative is on the anvil. We did prove our spirit for synergy and responsiveness to combat the pandemic COVID-19 from multiple fronts. Still, often these days, we get concerns with national and global benchmarking. We do worry as to why IIT Kanpur does not figure as the preferred destination for the first few hundreds from JEE. Friends, the future looks bright. Director has pronounced a bold vision and pragmatic goals for 2025. With his admirable leadership, the amazing IIT-K fraternity, and the enduring spirit of IIT-K, the future is going to be very bright. With enhanced excellence, national significance, global prominence, and eminence. I am quite confident that IIT-K will evolve as a preferred international destination in the near future. Aside, we could dream about synergizing our world-class talent pool to become world leaders in a couple of themes in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your thoughts with us. Ladies and gentlemen, now we would like to start with the first part of the felicitations. Through the Institute Fellow Awards, instituted in 2005, the Institute honors its well-wishers who have eminently contributed and have been pillars of support and encouragement to the overall development and growth of the Institute. I would now like to invite Professor Debashish Kundu, Dean of Faculty Affairs, to kindly read the citations for the Institute Fellow Awardees this year.
Mr. Umang Gupta, a 1971 BTech graduate in chemical engineering from IIT Kanpur, Mr. Gupta has positively impacted the world around him on multiple dimensions. He has been a pioneer and leader in enterprise software for mini computers, personal computers, and the internet and mobile platforms. He has transformed multiple IIT alumni organizations globally. From his home in San Mateo, California, Mr. Gupta has been engaged his local community in Silicon Valley and remains a devoted husband to Ruth, proud father to Anjali and Kashi, and 3 grandchildren. After completing his MBA from Kent State University and working for IBM, Mr. Gupta moved to California and was asked by Larry Ellison to write the first business plan for Oracle corporations in 1981. Later, Mr. Gupta's work ushered in the area of client-server computing via Gupta Technologies, a software company that he founded in 1984 and led to a successful IPO in 1993, thus becoming the first Indian American to take a software company public on the NASDAQ. After exiting that company, he became the chairman, CEO, and largest shareholder of Keynote Systems, an internet measurement and testing startup that he built into one of the world's first software as a service company, and which he took in public in 1999. Keynote acquired 14 other companies over the next 15 years until it was sold to a private equity firm. As a philanthropist, Mr. Gupta served on the board of what is now known the Silicon Valley Company Foundations, which has raised billions of dollars for regional and national causes in the United States. In addition, Ruth and he were donors to and served as a board members of PARCA, a California nonprofit organization that serves the developmentally disabled and their families. He served on the board of Smithsonian Institution's Asia Pacific American Center and the chairman of the San Mateo County History Museum, where he and Ruth have attended the Immigrants Gallery, celebrating the contributions of the immigrants to California from all over the world. IIT Kanpur takes great pride in honoring him as the Institute Fellow.
Professor Karandikar, IIT Kanpur faculty, and all of my IIT Kanpur alumni. I would like to thank all of you for this deep honor that you have presented to me to become an IIT Kanpur Fellow. I feel truly humbled and very grateful for everything that IIT Kanpur has done for me, including, of course, this latest honor. It is almost 50 years ago since I graduated from IIT Kanpur. And when I think of all the major things that have happened in my life, the important things, at least professionally, they all can be traced back to IIT Kanpur. My love of computers, which has helped me pursue a career in computer technology, the competitive spirit that was built into me at IIT Kanpur, the confidence that I gained at IIT Kanpur as a young teenager, all have stood me in good stead in the rest of my career. I still remember those early times when I first fell in love with computers, spending up to the middle of the night working on a computer program, trying to solve a knotty problem, all in the computer lab, working on an ancient IBM 1401 computer or a 7044 computer. Of course, that helped me much later for many, many, many years. It got me to feel in love with computers. It allowed me to join IBM. It allowed me to later on join Oracle in its very early days because I felt this deep need to build good computer software products. And then, of course, later on to start my own companies after that, Gupta Technologies and Keynote Systems. All of that required me to be very competitive in life, very ambitious in life. And while I think I always had a fair amount of ambition, even when I joined IIT Kanpur, I feel the competitiveness got honed at IIT Kanpur because of the hothouse atmosphere that I was part of, with this elite group of students, all from across the country, who have all done very well in their high schools. But here we were, some of us extremely good in studies, some of us not. I was among the people who were doing well, but I was definitely not at the top, not at the bottom. But it allowed me to compete and get better. And by competing and getting better, it allowed me to have confidence. And most teenagers don't have a lot of confidence. And by the time we finished, most of us, I think, had confidence enough to help change the world. And yes, many of us have helped in some way or the other to change this world around us. I still remember a very seminal discussion I had very early after having graduated from IIT Kanpur with a politician friend of my mother. My mother was a left of center politician in Bihar. This gentleman, was actually a Marxist, and him explaining to me how we should have class warfare and we should be able to change the world through politics. And I remember saying to him, ultimately, I quoted Marx back to him. I said, the means of production affect society. They affect how people are organized. They affect how the world is organized. And the means of production are affected by technology. Personally, it is my love of technology that has helped me. And I told him this. I said, I would like to be a technologist par excellence. And by technology, I think I can help make my changes to the world, much the same way that you, sir, wish to make changes through politics. Other people make them through art. Other people make them through music. There are many ways you can make changes to the world. But we, as IIT Kanpur graduates, need to remember that what we have been trained to do and what we were trained to do is to help make changes through technology. And for that, I think IIT Kanpur has done very well for us, for me, and for many of us. Now, I'm in the 8th decade of my life, closer to the end of it than to the beginning. And all I can say to you is, thank you, IIT Kanpur.
Professor Ashutosh Sharma is a visionary academician who has made some exceptional interdisciplinary contributions in nanosciences and nanotechnology fields. Since January 2015, he has been serving as the Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Professor Sharma received his BTech in Chemical Engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1982. In 1983, he obtained his master's from the Pennsylvania State University and later joined the doctoral program at the State University of New York, Buffalo. And finally, he obtained a PhD under the supervision of Professor Eli Ruxentin in 1987. For the next 3 years, he worked as a research scientist with the Department of Ophthalmology, School of Medicine, and Biomedical Sciences, State University of New York. In 1991, he moved back to India and joined IIT Kanpur as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemical Engineering. He later served as head chemical engineering from 2003 to 2005. Professor Sharma's research contributions are highly interdisciplinary, spanning a wide range of nanotechnology areas, carbon-based nanocomposites, and MEMS and NEMS in energy, health, and environment, functional interfaces, mechanics of soft matter, nanopatterning, and nanofabrications. He has so far published 350 peer-reviewed papers, filed over 15 patents, given over 150 invited keynote conferences presentations, and mentored a successful nanotechnology startup. Professor Sharma is a recipient of the numerous national and international honors and awards, including the prestigious Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award in 2002 in Engineering Sciences. He is also the recipient of the UNESCO Medal for Outstanding Contributions to the Development of Nanosciences and Nanotechnologies in 2017, Distinguished Alumni Award, State University of New York, SUNY Buffalo 2016. In 2010, the Infosys Science Foundation Award awards him with the Infosys Prize in Engineering and Computer Sciences. IIT Kanpur takes great pride in honoring Professor Ashutosh Sharma as an Institute Fellow.
Hello, I'm Ashutosh Sharma, and it's so totally delightful to be here in my own town, in my own campus, with our own friends and my guru, Dr. Vishwanath Sinha, as well as with Mr. Umang Gupta. So it's a great day. I'm so totally pleased that we are able to meet up on this day, even if we are doing that virtually. For this delight, I'm very thankful, I'm very grateful to Director Abhay Karandikar and the whole committee that may have made a decision in this regard. And I would really like to tell you that you have not made a mistake in this selection. Now, why is that? I have a very long association with IIT Kanpur and continue to have it. I am away on Leon for now more than 5.5 years. But certainly my heart, my brain, everything remains in the campus. It has given me wallet, now it's got electronic wallet, it's given me sufficient amount of brain, and it's given me friendships that have lasted a lifetime. So 30 years is indeed a very long time. 5 years of doing B.Tech from 77 to 82. No, I didn't fail 1 year. It used to be a 5-year course back then for my younger friends. And then 25 years physically of teaching in the campus from 1990 to the end of 2014. Um, uh, so let me walk you through very quickly these 30 years of my life with IIT Kanpur. Hopefully that there may be some little message in it for anybody who is listening. So what was it like? Of course, the B.Tech is the usual B.Tech. You know, you have a lot of fun and stuff. You grow up, you discover the world. You are away from home, maybe for the first time or second time, whatever. The campus was very cosmopolitan at that time, which is a great learning opportunity. That's because we never learn from people who are like us. I hardly talk to people who do chemical engineering or who work in the same area as I do. I would rather talk to the people in philosophy, in humanities, in social sciences, which was indeed my first love in IIT Kanpur. And this is a great opportunity for learning indeed, because learning happens by gradient. So if there is a great amount of gradient, then you learn new things, and then of course one could extrapolate it to your own area. Indeed, the future of technology is all about convergence of different streams of knowledge. But anyway, talking about the B.Tech, really after high school, I wanted to do philosophy or mathematics or maybe some physics kind of science, and doing engineering in IIT was my fourth priority. However, I was a lad of 16 years at that time, and like all of us, subject to peer pressure. So anyway, I made the best of whatever that the life offered, and I asked around. I said, what's the branch of engineering that really teaches you very little? In other words, therefore, that you can do a whole lot of other things that you always wanted to do. So people told me that this was like, oh, chemical engineering, because they didn't really know what chemical engineers do. So it seemed like that they could do a whole lot of things. So that's how I came to be in chemical engineering at IIT Kanpur. IIT Kanpur, because I visited IIT Delhi campus and there were no trees at that time. And then I came to Kanpur and I saw a whole lot of greenery, and that really sold my heart to it. Of course, IIT Kanpur, I have to tell you, was ranked ahead of most of the other IITs and perhaps all the IITs at that time. So it was a great place to be. As I said, there were people, I think about 80% in my batch were from Mumbai region, from Delhi, from Chennai, from everywhere. So like I said, that this was really wonderful. And I do wish that all the IIT campuses once again become truly metropolitan and so cosmopolitan. Of course, it can't be a metro now. So that's not the problem at all. But anyway, 30 years or 5 years of that, I totally enjoyed humanities and social sciences and mathematics courses. And that was a fantastic learning opportunity. Everybody wanted to do economics because they thought this is related to engineering and it improves their job prospects. but I had a different mind, so I would rather go for courses in philosophy, in psychology, in art. And I must admit, I must share this with you, that much of what I know today, a whole lot of things, is thanks to these courses, and that their importance cannot be underestimated at all. So while I started with a CPI in the first 2 semesters of 7 plus, I had bunked about all the lab courses, the labs that you go in the afternoon, but I was making good use of my time. I was not sleeping. I was reading Sartre, I was reading Kafka, I was reading Marx, whatever was, a typical teenager, if you would, who finds himself in a very stimulating environment, would actually read. And I think, we do what we want to do as long as we take responsibility for our actions. And I was totally okay with it to get a couple of D's in whatever courses that I didn't really enjoy. So I'm not suggesting that people do that. Anyway, people do that. It's better to cut a class if you have no interest in it, and do something really, really worthwhile with that time. And of course, you don't blame your teacher for the failure in that particular course. So that's how life was. The life was very interesting. But I should complete this story. I did start with 7 plus CPI, or what I call SPI and stuff. Okay, but I did graduate with 9 plus CPI. That's because things got a little bit cooler, even if you don't study too much. That you're able to do okay, in your courses. So that worked out very well. I had decided already by the time I was in IIT, before that in high school, that I wanted to be a teacher. And indeed, when people told me that if you do philosophy, you would become a professor. And indeed, life comes full circle. I became a professor, a happy professor, in fact. And so one shouldn't really too much worry about, what the future is going to hold for you and stuff. Future is all going to be good. It's not only good, it's going to be perfect, because there is no other future than the one that we would be in. So there is absolutely no point in comparison. Now I would tell you, so okay, then I had to do PhD if you want to become teacher, and I decided that I wanted to be a teacher in IIT Kanpur. Now, there is a very good reason for it, and I'm sure our younger friends here would appreciate that the intellectual freedom that IIT Kanpur gives is really unparalleled. I mean, I know all the other IIT campuses by heart. I know their culture. I know everything. So IIT Kanpur really gives you that atmosphere, that very, very encouraging atmosphere, if you would. That's very good for the growth of a young faculty member. And of course, it so happens that IIT Kanpur has launched many top brains and scientists of the country, but unfortunately, we lost them after a while. So while we were able to cultivate, young minds with full freedom and attaining their full potential, somehow we were not able to retain them forever. Imagine all the great people that have walked through IITK campus. If they were to be still there, this would be totally maybe among the top 100 universities in the world. Anyway, I'm not worried about rankings and stuff, but the point is that we had a spirit, early years of IIT Kanpur in the 1970s, 60s, late 60s, there was a spirit of risk taking. There was a spirit of disruptive thinking and actions. Now, of course, as we mature, that those things kind of become a little bit dilute. It happens everywhere, right? But we had great things that are given to the world in India, in academic world. This is about, for example, letter-based grading. This is about semester-wise teaching. This is about relative grading. This is about establishing the computer education and a big computer center when this was really unheard of in the country, which means to be forward-looking. I think we introduced a cultural festival, perhaps the first or second campus actually to do that, and then about the student participation in governance. So there were many things which are happening which was totally disruptive, and then rest of the world actually followed them. So now what happens is, I think we live in now a second phase or third phase of the maturity of IIT campuses, in which again we may go back to the drawing board and really think about, look, what is it new, what is it disruptive, what's really novel, what's really out of box, what's creative, that we could actually do, and come right back in the game. Of course, we are in the game. I'm not saying anything about not being in the game. It's just what I'm saying is that we have our competition is always with us, which means are we thinking ahead? Are we actually a risk taker? And that is what sets apart from anybody to everybody else. Of course, we know that great things, transformations are happening in our education. They are happening in our research. So thinking of research, let me then walk you through what it looked like in the 90s. So I joined in 1990. I joined there. There were 6 PhD students in a department of 20 faculty members. For the first 10 years, I worked with 1 PhD student, which means that that was very good. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's just that I had to work a lot harder, for working with a thesis, because that one thesis had to produce a lot of nuggets, if you would. And so this was a totally learning experience. But there was something more. That something more was that the campus would be often without power, right? And so it means that there was no substation which was located in the campus. There was also no telephone, so you basically call home once a week, and then you line up, you go to the gate on your bicycle with your wife and a little baby in tow. You go to the gate, even if it is very hot, 45-degree blazing sun. Then you stay in a line for about 1 hour. Then you make this call from what used to be called, this telephone booth. I've forgotten the name for it. They were very popular in the 90s. Okay, and it so happens that we also had no cooking gas for the first 3 years. Of course, people told me, people who hang around in the campus, they said that if I pay little extra, which is a nice name for a bribe, then I could get it the next day. Of course, I could pay that. There was no problem, right? But I figured that if I did that, I would knock off someone from the line who has been ahead of me by several years. Right, so we decided actually to get a solar cooker. My wife didn't complain. And we had a microwave from the US. So between the two of these, we cooked for the next 3 years until we got our gas connection legitimately. Now, the reason I'm saying this, that there was no culture of research, there were no PhD students, there certainly was no grants of any kind, any large grants from agencies like Department of Science and Technology. For the first 10 years, I had no grant at all. So it was basically also had to change the area of research, because I've been working on different areas. I was working with animals. Animal house was not there. Nobody would work on animal research that required, for example, working with rabbits and looking at the stem cells for the cornea and stuff would have been very exotic, right? So there was no possibility of that. So you see, so I said, look, there's no point complaining. Nobody is asking you to be here. Okay, if you have better job prospects at MIT or wherever, please go ahead, right? Don't complain. So this is the life you have chosen, and you have to make the best of it. And of course, there was no lab, right? So I was sitting in faculty building for 3-4 years, something like that, and then create your own lab, do all that stuff. Of course, there was great support from the institute, I have to say. Over the years, over the decades, they always understood the pain of a young faculty member. And then they tried to help as much as was possible under the constraints that the institute had. And I do recall several meetings with Professor Vishwanath Sinha, who was then deputy director, and very considerate indeed. So despite the fact that there were huge financial problems in the institute in those days, people were always very kind. And that indeed is a key to supporting young people, and they're keeping up their motivation. So then I had to change my area of research. We said, look, there is a computer and the people are very happy doing theoretical calculations. So let us start working in what is then called the soft condensed matter physics of some kind or other, right? It doesn't really matter what label you put on it. And then I was asking my neighbor, there was very good interaction between younger faculty and less younger faculty in those days, which means that my neighbor was Professor H.C. Money. So I would often ask him, I say, look, I'm doing this work. He would be very encouraging while drinking beer and say, look, I think it looks like physics to me. So I asked him, where do you publish? I had the foggiest idea about physics, right? So he said, oh, if you think it's good, then you send it to Physical Review Letters, or PRL as it is called. So I was not really, I didn't know about PRL or physics or nothing. So I sent it there, it got accepted. In the next 4, 5, 6 years, we published another 12 papers in PRL because I was not intimidated by, what somebody said, look, this is big, that is small, whatever it is. We have to keep trying. And I think one may even succeed, especially one may succeed if one brings a new idea from another area to connect two dots which have not been connected before. So I think it was working out happily. Along came the nano mission. So this was a new opportunity to do something new, to set up experimental facilities, by which time also the population of PhD students had improved a lot. Okay, so whole point in making all this point is to appeal to all the people who feel disheartened. And there may be good reasons for feeling disheartened. But never ever forget that, you see, to be negative, to be pessimistic, to give up, to complain, and to take that complaint very seriously to your heart is not a solution at all. Okay, so always, I've always been saying, look, today when I talk to younger people, I say, first thing you should do is lose energy vampires. Energy vampires, we know, is much like vampires. So you stay with them for 1 hour and you will go like a zombie for the rest of the day. Because everything which is wrong with this world and wrong with my world and your world, okay, that comes to such a compelling force that you would lose sight of some simple facts of life. And the simple fact of life is that if you think you are in the wrong place, if you have better opportunity, by all means, please take it and make better of your life, right? But while we are there is absolutely no reason actually to complain. In fact, there is this old philosopher, Roman emperor called Marcus Aurelius, who wrote this book, Meditations. It always stays with me when I'm a little bit down, because he says, look, you cannot complain, because to complain is insulting your gods, because whatever the gods have decided to give you must be the perfect thing. So I'm not saying we not better our lives. By all means, do that. Okay. But now the other point was, you see, other things that happened that I saw early on in my life is that, you see, when you are younger, one makes this little group of younger people, and that's natural because you have this social life and you have all of this going, parties and potlucks and everything else. Now, often this may degenerate into complaints and even more very negative thoughts about people who are older than you. Now, I had often tried to explain to them, look, age is only a linear translation in time, which means the people that we as a group think are evil, you would be exactly that one day in your life. And indeed, we have, as I had predicted with some certainty, that we are indeed all in that phase of life where we are considered a little bit older, so to say, right? And now, interestingly, now a whole lot of older people, they start complaining about the younger people. So you see you see the humor of this situation, because you cannot be critical of your future as a group. You also cannot be critical of who you were as a group. And so therefore, instead of generating these negative feelings, I always thought that if we are based on values rather than age or gender or region, whether I come from this part of the country, should I form a group based on that? Certainly not. Okay. So therefore, if we do all of that, I think life is much happier, and then you really connect with people that it is advisable to connect with. And I have learned so many things in my life staying in this campus. Not just so many things. I would say 75% of all the stuff in here is basically acquired at some point or other through the great wisdom of the friends, the colleagues, the neighbors, the administration, students, and all of that, right? So every day is a learning opportunity in such a vibrant atmosphere that IIT Kanpur offers. And so now the times for change are here again. We have been making great progress. I'm so happy, so happy to see this. It started, for example, from BSBE. I was a part of that committee that kind of drafted the stuff about what BSB would be and what it would do. On to Semtel Center, this all happened when I was there, and this was a transformative step, which means that we can do bigger things, we can do new things, we can even do technology development, which companies, the industry would have interest in. Of course, some little things like nanoscience, imaging center, etc. that developed when I was there. I was very privileged to have contributed to some of these and have really gone through this whole life and the transformation of the campus from being basically a backwoods undergraduate teaching institute. In fact, even those days, it's so, I recall so vividly, first year of my life, as a faculty, then I'm thinking, hey, I'm not able to do any research here, what's going on? So meanwhile, I see Dean R&D passing through on bicycle right next to me. So I was kind of saying, what can we do actually to bring in more research here? And he told me very politely, and he was so very right. He said, look, if you are so interested in research, this is not the right place for you. This is really an undergraduate teaching institute. Okay. So, but you see, things never remain the same. The future is what we dream about. Future is what we would build. And indeed, in 30 years, not a long time in the history of an institute. And indeed, those transformations have happened, fully happened. Today, I'm so happy to see that my younger colleagues start with the right kind of furniture. They start with the right kind of grants from different agencies. They start with a campus which offers so many different advantages. So it's not about the dark ages anymore. So now what it means is that we can really, do great things. Right? I don't think that there are as many constraints, even 10% of the constraints that my generation and even more a generation before me lived with. When I looked at them, when I look at somebody like Professor Vishwanath Sinha, I'm totally, dumbstruck. I say, how did they actually survive here? How did they transform this barren land into a college that was had a name that to be reckoned with, right? So I think when there are challenges, there are opportunities. So while we have been addressing these challenges in research, in R&D, in technology, in innovation, now the research park coming up, incubator has been doing great, and more of our students are getting encouraged to get into startups and so on. So that's so positive, and I think if we can push that more and more, is saying, look, it's not the top people of our country. It's not only for them to look for a little job. Take risk. Even if you have to fail, there is no failure. Neither failure nor success are forever. They are both transient. They are not permanent. But I think this is really that phase of our lives and that of the institute where we can take the bull by horn, be daring, right, and not waste our time anymore in petty bickerings about whether this is possible, how should I do that, is that right, one can do all of that analysis, but then get on with the work that needs to be done, and this is a collective responsibility. There's another thing that I've seen in my life in IIT Kanpur, that everybody thinks that their failure actually is squarely lies at the doorstep of someone else. This is not only IIT Kanpur. This is every institution that I have seen or had the pleasure of seeing from inside. So now we all say, see, only if director was Einstein, or if my head of the department was supporting me, or these committees outside, they are totally irregular, whatever. You see, it may even be true. But what if it is true? You see, the kind of freedom that we have in academia, nobody can dream of it in the rest of the world. And the kind of nobody, no director, no dean, no head I have ever seen would stop your potential and your work. So much of my talk here has been directed to much younger colleagues. And that is because, and this is just by, the images that come to my mind when I think about my younger years at IIT Kanpur, and I pointed out that I'm totally grateful for this little life that I could lead at IIT Kanpur, and I really hope that I would lead more of it over there. So this is not a threat, it is a promise. And I really, truly, greatly look forward to be with you again physically. Stay safe in COVID-19 times. You and your dear ones and your family and the whole campus and its community, that let us negotiate these hard times with some insights, with some dedication to our cause, and not really slowing down in that process. So I probably have taken longer than I figured, but that is how it is. That's how it is when I think about talking about IIT Kanpur. I could go on for minimum 10 hours, okay, and without any coaching or anything, because, and I'm sure that all of us who have been associated with it at different times have those richness of experiences that have enriched our lives beyond the description that we could provide to it. So thank you very much again for the opportunity to be with you, and thank you very much. God bless the campus. God bless all of us. Bye-bye.
Professor Vishwanath Sinha was born on January 7, 1943 at Bhagalpur, Bihar, and did his BSc in Engineering in Telecommunications from Bihar Institute of Technology, Sindri, and MS and DSc from the University of Ljubljana, Slovenia. He joined the institute on December 15, 1971 as an assistant professor jointly in the Advanced Center for Electronic Systems ACES and Electrical Engineering, and superannuated on January 31, 2005. During his more than 3 decades of service, besides his various academic roles, he has also served the institute in several capacities, notably as a warden, advisor administration, professor in charge student affairs, JE chairman, head of the department, and as deputy director for more than 2 terms. On leave of absence, he was a researcher at INP São José dos, Brazil, a visiting professor and University of Puerto Rico, USA, and several short assignments as a guest professor as Aachen University of Technology, Germany, and also as a visiting professor at Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, Louisiana, Switzerland. He was the founding director of the LMN IIT Jaipur, first ever public-private university in the country, set up by the government of Rajasthan and foundation of Mr. L.N. Mittal. He continued there as a distinguished professor and advisor after his term as director was over. Subsequently, he was an emeritus professor at MNIIT Jaipur and later became academic chair of E&ICT. He continued to be associated with the academy in an honorary capacity. In recognition of his significant contribution to this institute, IIT Kanpur is pleased to confer upon Vishwanath Sinha the Institute Fellow.
I very humbly accept the honor that the Institute has bestowed on me today. I feel overwhelmed by the recognition Thank you, IIT Kanpur. The empowerment that the Institute bestowed on all of us, the young faculty members at the Institute, to be outspoken and fearless was what made IIT Kanpur a special one in the academia of the country. One could also say that it gave us, each one of us, the feeling of ownership of the Institute. However, it came with additional associated responsibilities. You were responsible for not only for academics and research, but also for harmony, pride, and dignity of the Institute inside the academic area as well as outside in the campus. Each one of the directors of the Institute leaves deep imprint on the academics and the social fabric of the Institute, but it was the founding director, Professor P.K. Kelkar, who gave the Institute its Atma, its soul. I'm proud to say that I grew up in this environment. Memories and memories, full of ups and downs, as axiomatically will be in the life of any individual. Given a possibility, I would like to relive those decades once again. My son was born here in our own health center, was a student of Kisle, campus school, and Kendriya Vidyalaya, and got married here. Same was true of my daughter also, except that she was a toddler when we moved here. My wife spent more than 2 decades working in the central library that is called P.K. Kelkar Library today. And so it was not only the work, but also the social life. Bonds were formed and they still thrive, not only with the colleagues and their families, but also with the students. Even though we are away from the campus, in nutshell, ours was a very pleasant life. As Professor Hegde mentioned in his introduction, in ACES, I was also the coordinator for defense satellite systems. We worked at length for more than a year and came up with a piggyback model when the satellite uplink would be FDMA, then a commonly technological process. For security reasons and for avoiding eavesdropping, we proposed that the downlink would be digital TDMA. Of course, that would have required onboard processing, converting FDMA to TDMA with associated encryption. The crux was digital mode of proposed transmission. As was the norm, we had to present our proposal to an evaluation committee. At the end of our presentation to the committee, which also had members from DIL Dehradun, the Vice Marshal, Chairman of the Visiting Evaluation Committee, emphatically announced, gentlemen, the defense is not interested in digital communication. It put us, the country, decades behind the research in digital communication. And that was the end of our proposal. Because of labor problems, which were common during the 70s in our country, we also had some turbulent times in the institute. Mess workers who wanted to become institute employees went for a strike. We, along with the student Gymkhana, decided to run the messes ourselves with the student volunteers, MCC personnel, and the campus ladies, and of course using contract laborers as cooks and helpers. No student wanted cancellation of curtailment of the classes, nor any research work. The only alternative was, if we curtailed it, that we shut down the institute and send the students back home. What we did was, we had created a command post in Hall 5 for running the messes. Each morning, representative hall committees would telephone their requirements of the day, of grocery, of vegetables, and also of other essentials. I, as the dean, will collect our requirements before sending a team to the city for procurement. One fine morning, a student volunteer from Hall 1 calls and says he wants 1 kg of cardamom, that is choti ilaichi. I was taken aback on the required quantum and asked, why do you need such a quantity? His reply was, they wish to prepare kheer that day, and hence the quantity of 1 kg. He didn't understand that you require only a few grams of cardamom for the kheer. The strike was unconditionally taken off by the workers after 18 days. One could have retrenched all the mess workers, but magnanimity prevailed and not a single one was thrown out. I have pleasant memories, many of them, but time does not permit, and therefore I would like to stop here and say thank you very much and express my gratitude to the Institute for this honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Umang Gupta, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, and Professor Vishwanath Sinha for sharing your experiences with us today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for this segment, I call upon Professor Jayant Singh, Dean of Resources and Alumni, to introduce the Distinguished Alumnus Awards.
Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Vijay Raghavan, Chairman Board of Governors, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Director IIT Kanpur, Professor Abhay Karandikar, Deputy Director IIT Kanpur, Professor S. Ganesh, all the esteemed alumni, distinguished awardees and dignitaries, my fellow colleagues and guests. It is my privilege to welcome you all on this very special day. This is the first time in the history of IIT Kanpur we are holding our Foundation Day virtually. However, this certainly does not take away all the enthusiasm with which we have been celebrating this day every year. Foundation Day holds a very special place in our hearts, and thus with great pride, I announce this year's 22 Awards of Excellence. And this is the largest number of awards to have been ever given out in a single year. It is my great honor to present you the Distinguished Alumnus Award 2020. It is the highest award given by IIT Kanpur to its alumni in recognition of their outstanding achievements. Every year, Institute honors individuals who have made a mark in their respective fields of expertise. Since 1989, this honor has been bestowed upon a total of 147 alumni for their academic excellence, professional excellence, entrepreneurship and management excellence, and activities pertaining to the service of humanities at large.
The first name in this category is Professor Chandramouli Agarwal. I request Head Mechanical Engineering, Professor Samir Khandekar, to read the citation of the awardee.
Professor C. Mauli Agrawal received his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering in 1982 and subsequently went on to work for an automobile company in India as an engineer. To pursue his passion for academics, He went on to obtain a master's degree from Clemson University in 1985 and a doctorate from Duke University in 1989, all in mechanical engineering. Professor Agrawal is currently the Chancellor of the University of Missouri, Kansas City. He specializes in orthopedic and cardiovascular biomaterials and implants. He has published more than 300 journal articles and has 29 patents to his credit. In his illustrious career, Professor Agrawal has served as the interim provost and the vice president for academic affairs at the University of Texas, San Antonio. His bioengineering research group has made responsible for starting 3 companies in San Antonio. He currently also serves on the board of trustees of the Southwest Research Institute and is a member of BioMed San Antonio, the Texas Research Park Foundation, and the San Antonio Medical Foundation. Additionally, he has also served as the president of the Society for Biomaterials in 2006. He has been on the editorial boards of various scientific journals, including the Journal of Biomedical Materials Research, Tissue Engineering, the Journal of Systems, and the Journal of Tissue Engineering and Regenerative Medicine. Professor Agrawal is a Fellow of Biomaterials Science and Engineering, the National Academy of Inventors, and the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and the American Institute for Medical and Biological Engineering. Honoring the stellar contributions as an academic administrator and innovator in the fields of orthopedic and cardiovascular biomaterials and implants, IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Mauli Agrawal the Distinguished Alumnus Award of the year 2020.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Professor Chandramouli Agarwal to say a few words to us.
Hello. I'm truly honored and humbled to receive this award. I would like to thank Director Karandikar as well as the selection committee. I would also like to thank the person who nominated me because I had no idea that I was being considered. This is definitely very special as it comes from an institution that is recognized the world over for its excellence, my alma mater, IIT Kanpur. Over my career, I've had the opportunity and privilege to travel and visit universities and engineering programs across the world. Rarely have I found any engineering education that rivals or even comes close to the education I received at IITK. It's not just the theoretical knowledge of formulas that IITK taught me, but they introduced me to a new way of thinking. They taught me how to think outside the box, to innovate. I still remember a design project in my first year where we were asked to conceptualize a jack for a car that did not use a hydraulic or a ratchet or a screw system. That was innovation. The formulas and equations have long faded into the past, but the innovative way of thinking has served me well, whether in inventing new biomedical devices or launching new academic programs or launching companies. For that, I will be eternally grateful to IITK. I would like to thank Dr. Barun Banerjee and Professor and former IITK Director, Dr. Thande, who were both my teachers at Kanpur. Last but not least, I would like to recognize my classmates, many of whom have gone on to achieve great things and are more deserving of this award than I am. It was a privilege to have studied with them, and it is a privilege to call IITK my alma mater. Thank you.
The next name in this category is Mr. Ved Arya. I request Head of the Department, Aerospace Engineering, Dr. Abhijit Kushari, to kindly read the citation of the awardee.
Mr. Ved Arya received his bachelor's degree in aerospace engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1979 and subsequently obtained an MBA degree from IIM Ahmedabad in 1981. Mr. Ved Arya is the founder and former CEO of Srijan, Self-Reliant Initiatives Through Joint Action. Mr. Arya founded Srijan in 2000, a public charitable trust that features among the top non-profit organizations in India in the sustainable rural livelihood management space and empowerment of rural women. Mr. Arya is also the founder and managing director of Srijan Infratech and Development Services, which offers HR solutions and strategies to implement rural development programs of the Government of India. His passion for uplifting and enriching the lives of people led to setting up of the Buddha Fellowship Program in 2016. It is a unique platform that offers a complete ecosystem for young emerging leaders from India's premier educational institutions such as IITs and IIMs, an opportunity to build development enterprises. Mr. Arya has held fellowships of Howard Humphrey, United Nations Environment Program, Ashoka, and Aspire. Honoring his stellar performance in the field of enriching rural livelihoods and bringing rural development, IIT Kanpur confers upon Mr. Ved Arya the Distinguished Alumnus Award of year 2020.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Mr. Ved Arya for his acceptance speech.
Dr. Radhakrishnan, Professor Vijay Raghavan, Professor Abhay Karandikar, Dr. Jain Singh, honorable members of the jury, faculty, alumni, students, and my dear friends from the 1979 batch, Namaste. Thank you IIT Kanpur for conferring on me Distinguished Alumnus Award for Service to Humanity. It's a huge honor for me. I looked at the awardees list and googled their achievements, and I felt very humble. Special thanks to the jury for selecting me. To my co-conspirators and colleagues in Srijan, SIDS, Buddha Fellowship Program, and RCRC coalition of 65 NGOs, I must express my deep gratitude for love and affection of my mother and my brother and my sister, for Rajni, my wife, Prashant, my son, and my dear daughter, Shubha. I am so grateful. IIT Kanpur made me. I was 16-year-old Hindi-speaking boy from a small town in Rajasthan, but I survived. I had my moments of fun. I played carom with my friends. I flew gliders. I took out a Hindi magazine. My friends were a lifeline. It made me balance my life. In 1981, I graduated from IIM Ahmedabad and I chose to work in TCS. I worked hard and became a blue-eyed boy of my boss Bala. But every day when I walked to office in Air India building, I passed Fisherman Colony. I just started looking inside. I looked at the women, I looked at the children. Then I asked myself, I had got a fair deal at IIT Kanpur, but would these guys get a fair deal? Young Bhagat Singh's sacrifice came to my mind. I resorted to my diary I maintained at IIT Kanpur, and these were his words to his brother. आज जिंदगी की आखिरी शाम है, दीप शिखा की तरह सूरज उगने से पहले बुझ जाऊंगा. That's it. I made the decision. I quit TCS and I joined this Gandhian organization called ASEFA. I shifted my base to tribal villages of Rajasthan. I started living there. I was just 24 years old. Then I looked at the tribals' life. They only grew one crop and they would migrate to Ahmedabad to look for wage employment. I set up a irrigation scheme and I multiplied it in 20 villages. They started growing wheat as a second crop and they stopped migrating to Ahmedabad. Encouraged by this experiment and this success, I set up my own organization, Srijan, in 1997. This Srijan, over 20 years, has benefited 500,000 people. Society began to recognize these efforts. Business Standard gave me an award for Social Entrepreneur of the Year 2018. Government of India invited me to several policy making bodies. Recently, Securities and Exchange Board of India invited me on its group on Social Stock Exchange. These are small contributions for nation building. I invite my IIT-K alumni to join me as mentors in Buddha Fellowship Program. I invite young IIT-K students to come for rural immersion. IIT Kanpur, you had given me a solid foundation to become a social entrepreneur. I would ever be so thankful to you. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, sir. The next name in this category is Mr. Rajiv Batra. I request Head of Electrical Engineering Department, Professor Rajesh M. Hegde, to read the citation of the awardee.
Mr. Rajiv Batra received his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1982 and subsequently obtained his MS degree in computer science from the University of Wisconsin-Madison in 1983. Mr. Batra is a founder of Palo Alto Networks, the world's largest independent enterprise security company. After founding Palo Alto Networks in 2005, Mr. Batra held many key positions in the company. He was the member office of CEO and Senior Vice President of Engineering. In his illustrious career, he has also served as the Vice President of Engineering at Perbit Networks, which built the industry-leading products in the area of WAN optimization and WAN acceleration. It was acquired by Juniper Networks in the July of 2005. Mr. Batra was also the founder and Vice President of Engineering at Vital Signs Networks that was later acquired by the International Network Services in 1998. Mr. Batra is also a chair of the Board of Visitors of Computer Science Department at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, board member of the University of Wisconsin-Madison Foundation, and a trustee of the Honolulu Museum of Art. For his entrepreneurial acumen, Mr. Batra was awarded the 2012 Entrepreneurial Achievement Award by the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Honoring his stellar performances in the field of cybersecurity and WAN optimization and WAN acceleration, IIT Kanpur confirms upon Mr. Rajiv Batra the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2020.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Mr. Rajiv Batra to say a few words to us.
Hello friends, this is Rajiv Batra of 1982 batch, and I'm thrilled to be here with all of you virtually today. Few weeks back, I got an email from Professor Jain Singh that I have been selected for the Distinguished Alumni Award. And when I received that award, I felt extremely honored. And then the next feeling I got was that I was really humbled that my institute had picked me up for this award. Thank you, Institute, for giving me this recognition. I'd like to thank IIT Kanpur as an institute, the faculty and the staff, because they provided me an exceptional experience while I was at IIT Kanpur for 5 years. They taught me world-class education in engineering, gave me confidence that I can compete with the best in the world, and also taught me that through perseverance and hard work, we can overcome any challenge that I will face in the rest of my life. I can honestly say that all these experiences were the foundation on which I built my entrepreneurial career over the following years. I like to wish IIT Kanpur the best and hope that it continues to provide the exceptional environment it provided me to students in the future. Go IIT Kanpur.
The next name in this category is Professor Deepak Diwan. I request again Head of Electrical Engineering, Professor Rajesh M. Hegde, to read the citation of the awardee.
Professor Deepak Diwan received his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1975 and subsequently obtained his MS and PhD degrees from the University of Calgary in Canada in 1979 and 83 respectively. Professor Deepak Diwan is a professor, John E. Pippin Chair, GRA Eminent Scholar, and the Director of the Center for Distributed Energy at the Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta, Georgia. Professor Diwan specializes in the areas of power electronics, power systems, smart grids, and distributed control of power systems. He works closely with utilities, industry, and is actively involved in research, teaching, entrepreneurship, and starting new ventures. Professor Diwan has also served as the founder and chief scientist at Warranty in Santa Clara and was the president and CTO from 2011 to 14, leading the company as it develops its suite of innovative, distributed, real-time grid control technologies. Professor Diwan has been at the forefront of founding or seeding several new ventures, including soft switching technologies InnoVolt, Warentech, and Smart Wires, which together have raised more than $160 million in venture funding. Professor Diwan's 40 years of illustrious career in academia and industry has brought him many laurels. He is an elected member of the US National Academy of Engineering, member of the National Academy's Board on Energy and Environmental Systems, a fellow of the IEEE, past president of the IEEE Power Electronics Society, and he is also a recipient of the prestigious IEEE William E. Newell Field Medal. Honoring his commendable work in the areas of power electronics, power systems, and smart grids, IIT Kanpur confirms upon Professor Deepak Diwan the Distinguished Alumnus Award of the year 2020.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to request Professor Deepak Diwan to say a few words.
It's my distinct privilege and honor to receive the Distinguished Alumnus Award for 2020 from IIT Kanpur. It's been a long time, but I graduated from IIT with a BTech in 1975, and it was a life-shaping 5-year experience for me. You know, I must confess, I still use my learnings, both technical, analytical, and just life lessons every day. I was inspired by teachers like Professor T.R. Vishnath, and I still remember his lectures. He literally put life into analog circuits and op-amps, and helped me to kind of think about how to convey pedagogically this information to my students and how to just improve my own personal learning. And that's become a part of my daily life. Talk to my students. I mean, I still use those principles, every day. Not only did IIT teach me, technical stuff, but taught me to think broadly and holistically. I still remember, TA 101, TA 102, and the projects that really kind of forced me to integrate all the things that I had learned. And that made me comfortable, not only as a technical person, but as an academic, where I was able to convey what I was, wanting to do my students, and as an entrepreneur, where I was able to take this technology and translate it and bring it to market and make an impact. My academic career started in '83 from the University of Alberta, then moved to University of Wisconsin-Madison, and then finally to Georgia Tech. Taking time off in between to, run and operate 2 companies and to help start 2 more based on our technology. So that's been quite the journey, especially in a tough area like electrical energy, where it's very difficult to take new technology to market because of the over-regulated structure of the system. What IITK has helped me to do is to develop myself and help me to succeed. And help me so I can hopefully, give back to society. It's interesting, but my first publication, journal publication, came from my BTech project. We worked on solar cell maximum power transfer, way back when. And what it helped to do was ignite my, the spark for, my research interest and for innovation and my curiosity that has really driven me for the rest of my career. My deepest thanks also to my companion for over 40 years, my wife Anu, my children and parents who have had to put up with all my idiosyncrasies for all these years. And then last but not least, a shout out for my extended family, the class of 1975, who have given me an awesome group of friends and an awesome bond that has sustained me for 50 years. So thank you very much. And again, thanks IIT Kanpur.
The next name in the category is Professor Ashok Gadgil. I request Professor Sudeep Bhattacharjee, Department of Physics, to read the citation of the awardee.
Professor Ashok Gadgil received his MS degree in physics from IIT Kanpur in 1973 and subsequently received his doctorate in physics from the University of California, Berkeley in 1979. Professor Gadgil currently serves as a professor of civil and environmental engineering at University of California, Berkeley, and is also a faculty senior scientist at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. He has previously served as the Director of the Energy and Environmental Division from 2010 to 2015 at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. He specializes in heat transfer, fluid dynamics, and design for development. His work experience expands to technical, economic, and policy research on energy efficiency and its implementation, particularly in developing countries. His inventions, such as the Berkeley Durfer stove and UV waterworks, have been used extensively in developing countries. Professor Gadgil has won numerous awards and honors for his cost-effective and environmental-friendly inventions, such as the prestigious Hinz Award for the Environment in 2009, Sustainability Pioneer Award from SAG-SAM of Zurich in 2010, the European Inventor Award, and the NC2A Lifetime Award for Teaching Innovation in 2011, the Zaid Future Energy Prize, and the Lemelson MIT Global Innovation Award in 2012. He was also elected to the US National Academy of Engineering in 2013. In 2014, Professor Gadgil was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. The American Physical Society Forum on Physics and Society conferred upon Professor Gadgil its Leo Szilard Lectureship Award, honoring his remarkable contribution in the fields of heat transfer, fluid dynamics, and design for development. IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Ashok Gadgil the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2020.
Now I would like to invite Professor Ashok Gadgil to say a few words.
Director Karandikar, faculty and students, distinguished guests, friends and colleagues. I'm delighted and grateful for this wonderful honor and sweet recognition. I arrived at IIT Kanpur as a physics MSc student. The 2 years I spent at IIT Kanpur were formative and left a deep imprint on me in terms of asking what is worth doing in life. What hard questions are worth answering with one's intellectual energy and creative force? Of course, if you ask this question to 100 people, you'll get 100 different answers. In my case, the one lesson I took away has led me to work on serious technical problems of people in poverty. Problems that don't make it into engineering textbooks or that don't often show up even in prestigious engineering journals. It has led me to work on low-cost, fuel-efficient biomass stoves for refugees in Africa and novel technologies to make drinking water safe and affordable to people below poverty line in India and other developing countries. It has also led me to substantially contribute to the new emerging discipline of development engineering, creating a new framework that is finding resonance across several top universities around the world. Alma mater in Latin literally means nourishing mother. In English, it has come to mean the institution that nourished us intellectually during our formative years. So there is no sweeter honor than receiving high recognition by one's own nourishing mother. I am greatly honored and delighted to join the ranks of several other outstanding alumni in being selected for the Distinguished Alumnus Award by IIT Kanpur for 2020. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And the next name in the category is Dr. Rajiv Gautam. I request Head Chemical Engineering, Professor Animanshu Ghatak, to read the citation of the award.
Dr. Rajiv Gautam received his bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1974 and subsequently obtained his master's degree from the University of Drexel in 1976 and a doctorate from the University of Pennsylvania in chemical engineering in 1979. Dr. Gautam also earned an MBA from the University of Chicago in 2003. Dr. Rajiv Gautam is currently the president and CEO of Honeywell Performance Materials and Technologies. He began his career with Union Carbide in 1978 and became part of a joint venture in 1988. Throughout his career, Dr. Gautam has championed innovative solutions for industry needs and has been responsible for the development and commercialization of a broad range of catalytic and separation applications for the refining, petrochemical, and gas processing industries. Prior to joining Honeywell, Dr. Gautam served as president of Honeywell Universal Oil Products and vice president and chief technology officer of Performance Materials and Technologies. Over more than 30 years, he has held key positions within Universal Oil Products, spanning research and development, engineering, and marketing, including vice president and chief technology officer of Universal Oil Products. Honoring his stellar performance in the development and commercialization of a broad range of innovative catalytic and separation technologies to meet industrial needs, IIT Kanpur confers upon Dr. Rajiv Gautam the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2020.
Now I would like to request Dr. Rajiv Gautam to please say a few words.
Thank you, Professor Singh, Dr. Karandikar, and all at the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, for this recognition. I'm truly honored to have been selected for the Distinguished Alumnus Award for Entrepreneurship and Management. My education at the Institute has been the single most significant factor in my success. I'm truly grateful not only for the education I received, but for the experiences that shaped me as a leader. The Institute clearly not only produces engineers, but leaders and entrepreneurs. My education and experiences at the Institute nurtured my curiosity and taught me to challenge and reason. It prepared me to lead an organization and be able to consider a myriad of complex factors, some of which are in direct conflict with each other, in order to make the best decision for the growth of a business. In fact, the Institute taught me to trust myself, to analyze a subject matter and draw my own conclusions. As I went through my career, developing and commercializing new technology, whether it was a process for propane dehydrogenation for on-purpose propylene production, or a process for converting methanol to olefins, or a process for producing renewable diesel and jet fuel from bio feedstocks. I always approached it as a problem that had to be solved, a trend that presented an opportunity to capitalize on. Besides my ability to lead and drive these efforts, I brought a lot of technical capability grounded in my training. That was a key to first having me believe that a solution was possible and then driving the successful creation of the solution. My education and experiences from the Institute not only fundamentally changed how I approach learning, but also shaped how I approached my career and my life. Adaptability, innovation, and a desire to win have been the keys to my success. I have been successful at delivering innovation that no one anticipated because I trusted my gut. And that is grounded in my analytical approach that I must credit to my education at the Institute. I truly am humbled by and appreciate this recognition. I want to dedicate this award to all of my professors at the Institute for providing me with an outstanding education, and especially to my wife of 42 years, who has supported me and has always challenged me to be the best version of myself. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, the next name in the category is Dr. Ashish Gupta. Now, I would like to request Head of the Department, Computer Science, Professor Mainak Chaudhary, to read the citation of the awardee.
Dr. Ashish Gupta received his Bachelor of Technology degree in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1988 and was awarded the President's Gold Medal. He earned his doctorate in computer science from the Stanford University in 1994. Dr. Ashish Gupta is a well-renowned entrepreneur and known for establishing many startup firms in India and in the Silicon Valley. He is currently the co-founder and senior managing director of Helion Venture Partners. He was inducted as partner emeritus by Prime Venture Partners in August 2020. Dr. Gupta's entrepreneurial journey began in 1996 through Junglee. Junglee developed web data integration technology for comparison shopping. He was the VP in charge of engineering and operations, helped in fundraising as well as strategy as a member of the board of directors. Junglee was later acquired by Amazon.com for $230 million in 1998. In 2000, Dr. Gupta co-founded another pioneering company, Tavant, a software solutions company specializing in mortgage lending and manufacturing. The company currently has over 3,000 people between its Bangalore and Noida locations. His exceptional entrepreneurial skills made him start a venture firm in India, Helion. He co-founded it in 2006 with about $140 million from top university endowments and investors. The firm has raised a total of $600 million to date. Helion was the first investor in several India internet companies. The companies Helion has invested in have created over 50,000 jobs in India and contributed to the creation of the Indian startup ecosystem through infusion of money and mentorship. Independent of Helion, Dr. Gupta has been involved personally in many technology startups in India. He's among the first few investors in India-based technology companies starting in 1999. He seed-funded Daksh in 2000 and joined its board. Eventually, Daksh grew to 20,000 people and was then bought by IBM. He has mentored several hundreds of technology entrepreneurs and about 10 new venture funds over the past 20 years. He also has 6 patents to his credit. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of engineering and entrepreneurship, IIT Kanpur confers upon Dr. Ashish Gupta the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2020.
I would like to invite Dr. Ashish Gupta to say a few words.
Dear Dr. Karandikar, Dr. Singh, and all faculty members of IIT Kanpur and friends, thank you so much for conferring this honor on me. While I can think of many more deserving alumni, I confess I didn't try to talk the committee out of giving me this award. It is a special privilege to be recognized by IIT, because even after all these years, a nod of approval by an IIT faculty member carries an enormous sense of validation. Getting congratulatory notes from my teachers and friends like Dr. T.V. Prabhakar, Dr. Sanghi, and Dr. Mittal is a unique gift. So thank you. Talking of gifts, IIT Kanpur has given me many. The gift of lasting friendships is first and foremost. Like many others, most of my friends from IIT Kanpur continue to be close to me. I feel lucky that Kanpur was such an uninviting city and that the internet does not exist. So we got close, spending endless hours playing volleyball, watching movies in L7, and just sitting around in the hostel corridors, expounding solutions to all of the world's problems. The bonds of trust we developed have survived 35 years of abuse. So thank you for giving me my friends. Second, the gift of a tribe. Even when I meet someone from the 1970 batch, we discuss our hall number, our nicknames, and our JE rank. But jokes apart, being from IITK confers an immediate sense of camaraderie, trust, and helpfulness. Being part of this tribe is a rare privilege. May the tribe live long and prosper, and thank you. Third, the gift of realizing how little I know. That lesson was delivered within hours of arriving on campus. My seniors made us into phantoms and rescued us from our post-JEE hubris through bizarre physics problems. The teachers, while a little more decorous, underlined the point. And finally, my batchmates took care of any remnants of pride. My sincere gratitude to all these people for starting me on a lifetime of learning. The last gift, and for me maybe the best, is the gift of a life partner. My wife too is an IITK alum. We reminisce about shared experiences like traumatic train journeys through Kanpur and through Jhansi, the inscrutable food and lighting at Red Rose, and some experiences that are not shared, like being a woman in IIT and at society in large. I am forever grateful for my good fortune because her better JE rank is not mere happenstance. So thank you IIT Kanpur for a lot of the good in my life and for this honor. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, sir. The next name in this category is Dr. Anand Jagannathan. I would like to request Head of the Department, Electrical Engineering, Professor Rajesh Hegde, to read the citation of the awardee.
Dr. Anand Jagannathan received his bachelor's in electrical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1974 and subsequently obtained his doctorate in computer science from the University of Rice in 1978. Dr. Jagannathan is a serial entrepreneur, startup investor and advisor, and currently the founder and CEO of Engage Social, a Silicon Valley-based company. An experienced founder, CEO, and technologist, Dr. Jagannathan was one of the first Indian American to launch a successful initial public offering, what is called as the IPO company, founding Banyan Systems in 1983. Banyan was a leader in enterprise networking and the solution of choice for many Fortune 1000 companies. His second IPO company, Responses, pioneered software as a service in 1998. Emerged as a leader in interactive digital marketing and is now a part of Oracle. Dr. Jagannathan's other companies led innovation in workflow automation, online shopping, and social media marketing. They have received several accolades, including the top 25 startups from Fortune magazine and Technology Genius from the Shopping Network. He is very active mentoring IIT founders in building the next wave of artificial intelligence-based companies in security, sales intelligence, and insurance. Dr. Jagannathan was recognized by the Rice University for his entrepreneurship. He was the CFO and president of the IITK Foundation, co-chair of the IITK Golden Jubilee celebrations in the Bay Area in 2000, and was selected the Distinguished Alumnus of the West Coast chapter of the United States. Dr. Jagannathan has 3 patents to his credit. Honoring his stellar contributions in founding successful startups and mentoring the next generation of AI companies, IIT Kanpur confirms upon Dr. Anand Jagannathan the Distinguished Alumnus Award of the year 2020.
Thank you, sir. And now I would like to invite Dr. Anand Jagannathan to say a few words to us.
I arrived in Kanpur the day after the first man, Neil Armstrong, landed on the moon. The next 5 years at IITK was the launchpad of my career. Thank you, IITK. Thank you, Director Karandikar. Thank you, Dean Jayan Singh, for the honor of selecting me for the DA award. When I came in, IITK was a melting pot of bright minds, cosmopolitan backgrounds, and avant-garde interests. I found it to be challenging, stimulating, and most of all, very competitive. It's where I learned to strive to be the best. My advice to any student is to get a balanced education. It's not just about courses and grades. It's about curiosity, engagement, and camaraderie. Most of all, it's about building confidence in oneself. One of my proudest achievements was captaining the IITK tennis team to win the Inter-IIT Championships. After IITK, I got a full fellowship to Rice University, and I credit my IITK swagger to helping me get my PhD done in 4 years when I was just 25. I give a lot of credit to my IITK education and PhD that taught me how to think and solve problems. I always wanted to become an entrepreneur and started my first company, Banyan, after 4 years at my first 2 jobs. I just had 3 months of savings to get funded, and in 1983, there weren't many role models that I could look up to. But my opportunity cost was low. What made Banyan very successful was not only having a big vision, but also listening to customer feedback to evolve that vision. We were the solution of choice for most enterprises across the world. Luckily, Banyan was a successful IPO, and that got me hooked into never going back to work for someone else. Another piece of advice to all students and budding entrepreneurs is to unleash the entrepreneur in you when you're young. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. 15 years later, it was the same 2 ingredients of vision and customer empathy that made Responses successful. We took a bold step of launching as a SaaS company in 1998 and disrupted a $150 billion market in catalog marketing. Responses went public with a bang and was later acquired by Oracle. After my 5 entrepreneurial companies, I recognized it was time for me to give back further. I am now very active in mentoring companies where I invest and advise bright young minds driving innovation and problem solving. I'm helping 3 IIT founded companies, all using AI technology and solving problems in security automation, sales intelligence, and insurance analytics. I'm always available to help IITK alumni and look forward to meeting more of you when the world opens up. As an alumnus, and especially a DA, we have a responsibility to the institution that molded us. To adapt Neil Armstrong's famous words, it's a small step to graduate. It shouldn't be a giant leap to give back to your alma mater. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next name in this category is Professor Rupak Majumdar. I would like to request Head of Computer Science and Engineering, Professor Mainak Chaudhary, once again to read the citation of the awardee.
Professor Rupak Majumdar received his Bachelor of Technology degree in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1998 and was awarded the President's Gold Medal. Subsequently, he earned his doctorate in computer science from the University of California, Berkeley in 2003. Professor Rupak Majumdar is currently the scientific director at the Max Planck Institute for Software Systems, Germany. He also holds adjunct professor positions at the University of California, Los Angeles, and the University of Kaiserslautern. He specializes in the areas of verification and control of reactive, real-time, hybrid, and probabilistic systems, software verification, and programming languages, logic, and automata theory. In his illustrious academic career, Professor Majumdar has received many prestigious awards and honors, such as the Leon O. Chua Award from UC Berkeley, an NSF Career Award, a Sloan Foundation Fellowship, an ERC Synergy Award on privacy, accountability, compliance, and trust in tomorrow's internet, most influential paper awards from the International Conference on Programming Language Design and Implementation, and the International Conference on Principles of Programming Languages, and several best paper awards. Honoring his stellar contributions in the field of programming languages and embedded systems, IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Rupak Majumdar the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2020.
Thank you, sir. And now I request Professor Rupak Majumdar to say a few words.
Dear Professor Karandikar, Dean Singh, members of the IITK community, ladies and gentlemen, it is a delight and an honor to be accepting this award today. It is a delight because of the many fond memories I have of IITK and the many friends and mentors from the IITK community I have had the privilege of knowing during and since my time there. It is an honor simply to be an alumnus, let alone a distinguished one, when I see the exceptional set of people who form the IITK community. To my many friends and mentors, too many to name, thank you for being there for me. My time at IITK was academically rigorous, but also fun. In a way, a part of IITK remains with me wherever I am. I realized I have not been back to Kanpur since graduation. I would have loved to visit today and to have met many of you in person and to have introduced my kids to the many memories I have on campus. I hope to do this eventually, and I hope to meet many of you in person once travel is possible again. Till that day, stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for this unexpected but very delightful recognition. I am truly grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The next name in this category is Mr. R.K. Mathur. I would like to invite Head of Mechanical Engineering, Professor Sameer Khandekar, to read the citation for the awardee.
Mr. Radhakrishna Mathur received his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1975 and subsequently obtained his MTech in industrial engineering from IIT Delhi in 1977. He has also earned an MBA degree from International Center for Promotion of Enterprises from Slovenia. Mr. Mathur currently serves as the Lieutenant Governor of the Union Territory of Ladakh. Mr. Mathur is a retired 1977 batch IAS officer of Tripura cadre. His illustrious career as an IAS officer includes working as the Chief Information Commissioner of India, CIC, India's Defense Secretary, Defense Production Secretary of India, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Secretary of India, and the Chief Secretary of Tripura. Mr. Mathur has also served in various key positions for both Union and Tripura governments, like as the Chief Secretary of Tripura, Principal Secretary Finance, Principal Secretary Agriculture, Principal Secretary Rural Development, Resident Commissioner of Tripura, Commissioner of Revenue, Commissioner of Panchayats, CEO of Tripura Tribal Areas Autonomous District Council, and as the District Magistrate and Collector of West Tripura District, the Tripura Government, and the Union Defense Production Secretary, Union Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Secretary, Special Secretary in Ministry of Defense, Development Commissioner in Ministry of Textiles, and as the Chief Enforcement Officer in the Ministry of Textiles in the Union Government. Honoring his services to the people through the field of public administration in India, IIT Kanpur confers upon Mr. R.K. Mathur the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2020.
Now I would like to request Mr. R.K. Mathur to say a few words.
Respected Director, Dr. Karandikar, other award winners, and dignitaries present, my warm greetings to all. First, I thank IIT Kanpur for their decision to bestow this honor of distinguished alumni on me. I accept with pride and humbleness. I thought then, and I think even today, that IIT Kanpur was the greatest possible ground for training my mind, forming my attitudes, and for acquiring knowledge. I bow in respect to this institution and to all my teachers. My greetings to all my batchmates and other students whom I had the privilege to know and learn together. As a career bureaucrat, it has always been my sincere effort to bring benefits to the pupil. This journey continues in my present job as Lieutenant Governor of Ladakh. Once again, I express my gratitude to this great institution, IIT Kanpur, for teaching me and for recognizing me. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. The next name in this category is Mr. Neelkant Mishra. I would like to request Head of Computer Science and Engineering, Professor Mainak Chaudhary, to read the citation for the awardee.
Mr. Neelkant Mishra received his Bachelor of Technology degree in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1997 and received the Director's Gold Medal. He currently serves as a Managing Director, India Strategist, and Co-Head of Equity Strategy Asia Pacific for Credit Suisse. He has worked in metals and mining, Indian pharmaceuticals, Taiwan IC design, semiconductor foundries, and Asian tech strategy research based out of Mumbai, Singapore, and Taipei. Prior to joining Credit Suisse, he worked with Infosys Technologies and Hindustan Lever Limited. For most of the last 5 years, Mr. Mishra has been rated as the best analyst in India by surveys like Institutional Investor and Asia Money. Mr. Mishra is one of the topmost economic thinkers in India. He is currently part of the Economic Advisory Council to Prime Minister and has been an advisor to several important government committees like the 15th Finance Commission and the FRBM Review Committee. His research frequently shapes economic discourse in the country, as well as the strategies of some of the largest corporate houses, and sometimes drives policy changes too. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of economics and policy research, IIT Kanpur confers upon Mr. Neelkant Mishra the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2020.
Thank you, sir. I would like to request Mr. Neelkant Mishra to say a few words to us.
I am honored and absolutely elated to have been conferred the Distinguished Alumnus Award for Professional Excellence. The news gave me the same thrill that I felt entering our campus for the first time as a 17-year-old with stars in my eyes. But there is another way in which this award feels similar to my first months at the Institute, the self-doubt. Do I really belong here with these brilliant folks? What if I just turned lucky in the JEE? I feel the same way with this award. After all, other recipients, including a few from my batch, have catalyzed momentous changes and have changed thousands, if not millions, of lives for the better. But behind such humbling thoughts lies the confidence, also imparted by the Institute, that if I stay put, I can continue to make myself more deserving of the award. Much of what I am today, I owe to IIT Kanpur. There are many life lessons I learned at the Institute that have shaped my choices of competing with the best, not settling into a comfort zone, and challenging myself continuously, handling failure without turning bitter, and the courage to do and say what I really believed in, instead of what everyone else was doing. But the one I have used the most was an understanding of what counts as research. I remember my batchmate Mukesh and I started with absolutely no knowledge of computer vision and natural language processing, and ended with papers in international conferences. The happy surprise that what was to us just a lot of reading, discussion, and tinkering around in the robotics lab, and I must say having quite a bit of fun doing so, could provide insights to others has stayed with me. It has encouraged me to take on challenging problems in economic and policy research, which have provided exhilarating insights to me, and also over time affected policy. The intellectual freedom and the spirit of inquiry I experienced at the Institute has driven me to try and create the same in my firm. Having received so much from the country that I was born into, I hope to continue to contribute to its development. I thank my parents for their genes, their values, and their blessings, and my wife for her unstinting love and support. I thank the Institute again for this honor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next name in this category is Dr. Subrata Mitra. I would like to request Head of Computer Science and Engineering, Professor Mainak Chaudhary, to read the citation for the awardee.
Dr. Subrata Mitra obtained his Bachelor of Technology degree in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1988 and subsequently obtained his MS degree from the University of Delaware in 1990 and PhD from Urbana University, Ohio in 1994 in computer science. Dr. Mitra is a venture capitalist and currently serves as a partner at Axel since 2008. He was the first investor in Casa One, CureFit, Flipkart, JustPay, Moglix, Moneyview, MuSigma, Mindra, acquired by Flipkart, Scriptbox, Virident, acquired by Western Digital, Wibmo, acquired by PayU, and several other category leaders. Prior to Erasmic, Dr. Mitra was the Managing Director of India Operations for Tavant Technologies, Inc. Tavant was acquired by a US-based mortgage solutions company in 2004. Dr. Mitra has also served as the founder of Firewhite, Inc., which was acquired by Ubiquio, Inc., and later merged into Mobile Planet. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of venture capital and entrepreneurship, IIT Kanpur confers upon Dr. Subrata Mitra the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2020.
Now, I would like to request Dr. Subrata Mitra to say a few words.
Hello, and thanks for having me on this program. It's indeed a great pleasure to be recognized by the Institute as a distinguished alumnus. I wanted to start with a little story, as I almost didn't make it to IIT Kanpur in 1984. That same time, I had topped the entrance exam for ISI, Indian Statistical Institute, and their final selection was based on a face-to-face interview that was very interesting. I was asked to sit on one side of a long table, and there were 6 or 7 professors on the other side, and they kept volleying questions at random and wanted me to respond to them. I was very nervous to begin with, but slowly started to enjoy the process. This went on for a while, and then the head of the committee asked me what other admissions I had. When I mentioned computer science at IIT Kanpur, he was actually very surprised, and he asked, why was I even interested in ISI? My response was that the 100 rupee a month stipend that they provided was enticing, and it was. At that point, he blurted out in front of the rest of the committee that he'd strongly recommend I go join Kanpur and not his institute. Made my decision a lot easier. On campus, what could have been a boring 4 years ended up anything but. Outside of coursework, we learned a lot of other things. Midnight fatta cricket, bike ride to GT Road dabas, interwing water fights, film development at the photography club, running for hall elections, helping counseling service, and a million other things to keep ourselves entertained. But most of all, we did one thing that was really transformative. We built friendships that would last a lifetime. The closest of these were like family, and they remain that way even 30 years since. Looking back, I would say that the single outcome from my early days has gone a long way in shaping my professional networks, and therefore partly responsible for making me what I am today. We had all left campus in 1988, and I only made it back there next around 2006. Everything looked a little different, but to me, it was all the very same. L7, Hall 1 mess, the computer sciences professors, or the walk across shopping center all put me back at home. While I was away long and far, the reconnect was instant, and it was exciting and nostalgic, as if we had never really left. Separately, in Bangalore, I have participated in revitalizing the local chapter of Alumni Association and continue to engage with younger alums on a regular basis. It's great to see that over decades, the dreams haven't really changed. It's to excel at what we do and in the process, contribute to others around us and to society in general. This is what makes today's recognition even sweeter, to know that we stand shoulder to shoulder with many extraordinary people, and that the list of achievements from this group will continue to get longer and stronger with time. I wanted to close by thanking all the people who have touched my life in different ways, for humoring me when I was going at a tangent, for being patient with me when I was stubborn, for providing guidance when I was getting lost. A special thanks to Umesh Joshi for nominating me and to everyone involved in the selection process.
Thank you, sir. The next name in this category is Professor Meenakshi Narayan. I would like to request Professor Sudeep Bhattacharjee, Department of Physics, to read out the citation for the awardee.
Professor Meenakshi Narayan received her MSc degree in physics from IIT Kanpur and was awarded the General Proficiency Prize for the best outgoing student in 1984. She subsequently earned her doctorate in physics from the State University of New York at Stony Brook in 1991. She did her postdoctoral work at Fermi National Accelerator Laboratory, USA, between 1991 to 1995, and was awarded the prestigious Wilson Fellowship at Fermilab, USA, following the discovery of the top quark in 1995. Professor Narayan joined Brown University as a faculty in 2007, having previously taught at Boston University. As an experimental high-energy physicist, Professor Narayan has dedicated her career to understanding the particles and their interactions during the early universe, in order to characterize physics at the microscopic scales. She was instrumental in the discovery of the top quark in 1995, which is the heaviest fundamental particle, and as heavy as an osmium atom. In 2012, Professor Narayan's group had significant involvement in the discovery of the Higgs boson. Since 2007, Professor Narayan conducts her research with the CMS experiment at the Large Hadron Collider, LHC, at CERN, Geneva, Switzerland, and has been a member of the D0 experiment at Fermilab, Batavia, Illinois, since 1991. Professor Narayan is the elected chair of the Collaboration Board of US CMS. She created history by being the first woman to hold this elected position. She is a member of the High Energy Physics Advisory Panel, which advises the federal government on the national program in high energy physics. In January 2020, she was selected to co-lead the activities of the Energy Frontier for the APS-DPF community planning exercise to develop a 20-year future vision for particle physics research within the United States. Honoring her stellar work in the field of high energy physics, IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Meenakshi Narayan the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2020.
Thank you once again, sir. Next, I request Professor Meenakshi Narayan to say a few words.
Dear Director Karandikar, respected faculty, dear fellow alumni, dear students, friends, and family. It is an honor to be conferred the Distinguished Alumni Award, and with humble pleasure and heartfelt gratitude to all of you, I accept it. I'm thankful to IIT Kanpur and especially indebted to Professor Mani, Professor Mehta, and Professor Vaghmare for their mentorship, which opened doors that led to countless exciting opportunities for me. The support from my professors and the friendship of my peers and seniors enhanced my confidence and enthusiasm for physics. They built a strong foundation which defined my academic journey from the city of Gorakhpur in UP, India, to Providence, Rhode Island, USA, as a professor at Brown University and as an experimental particle physicist participating in one of the largest scientific experiments of humankind. I dedicate this award to my late parents, Mrs. Kusum Srivastava and Mr. Prem Narayan Srivastava, who insisted on equal opportunities for girls and boys and always encouraged us to follow our interest. Initially, all the subjects, like physics and math, were pages in a book. Only when I could play with equipment and relate theory to the real world, my passion in physics was kindled. As a woman in physics, my career path was sprinkled with tumultuous experiences. However, these experiences only propelled me to be a mentor for young scientists and a fiercely aggressive activist for women in science. On a daily basis, I strive to raise public awareness and appreciation for the role of science in our society with concrete examples which are related to my current research and draw parallels between science, art, and music as timeless expression of human culture. I like to retell stories told by the fundamental particles, the building blocks of matter, which emerged from the Big Bang and formed the universe with all the galaxies and the stars we see today. Making science accessible to all, rather than the realm of a few, privileged few, is important to encourage diverse audiences, including girls and underrepresented populations. Promoting public awareness and appreciation of science is important and necessary in this time of rapid societal and environmental change. I invite all of you to join me in these efforts to inspire the public with the wonders of science, engage them to appreciate the impact of science in our daily lives, and continue to make the case that science can provide innovative solutions to the problems we face today. Learning from personal experiences, I value building respectful and inclusive communities with an emphasis on learning as a team in which our passion and vision define us despite our imperfections. As the old proverb goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. While both situations are applicable, I have specially benefited from going far together. I thank you again for endorsing my achievements with this wonderful award, and my sons Anish and Anand and my husband Ulrich Heinz join me in thanking you for this award. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The next name in this category is Mr. Gokul Rajaram. I would like to request Head of Computer Science and Engineering, Professor Mainak Chaudhary, to read the citation for the awardee.
Mr. Gokul Rajaram received his Bachelor of Technology degree in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1995, and subsequently he earned an MS degree in Computer Science from the University of Texas in 1996 and an MBA from MIT Sloan School of Management in 2001. Mr. Rajaram currently serves on the executive team at Durdash, a logistic and food ordering service. Prior to Durdash, he worked at Square, where he led several product development teams and served on Square's executive team. Mr. Rajaram was instrumental in building the first version of Google AdSense and grew Google AdSense to over $1 billion in revenues. He went on to found a natural language programming company, which was acquired by Facebook, where he then led the ads product team as product director, helping grow revenues from $750 million to $6.5 billion and help Facebook transition its advertising business to become mobile first. Mr. Rajaram sits on the board of Coinbase, Pinterest, The Trade Desk, and is an advisor to over 50 startups. Honoring his stellar contributions in the fields of digital advertising, product innovation, and technical leadership, IIT Kanpur confers upon Mr. Gokul Rajaram the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2020.
Thank you once again, sir. Now I request Mr. Gokul Rajaram to say a few words.
Hello, Director Karandikar, deans, and fellow alumni. Thank you for this honor. I'm grateful to be here virtually with this incredibly talented group of people. I still remember that day in 1991 when I learned that I had passed the JEE. I was forced with the choice at that point of which IIT to join. I grew up in Faridabad, right next to New Delhi, and the natural thing would have been to choose IIT Delhi, which was very close to home. But I decided to join IIT Kanpur. Why? Because at that time it had the best computer science department, and it still does, by the way. I'm so happy I made that choice. That choice brought me to IIT Kanpur, and those 4 years left an indelible mark on my life. I received a priceless education from incredible professors. I was truly on my own for the first time and learned life lessons that have stayed with me ever since. And I made deep friendships that until today are some of my best friends. Looking back, I realized I learned 3 very important things at IIT Kanpur. First, how to solve problems. I developed the ability to take any open problem, give structure to it, and figure out an efficient way to solve the problem. It has proved very helpful to me throughout my life to have that ability. Second, I built the skill of getting along and building relationships with people of diverse and different backgrounds. IIT Kanpur was truly a melting pot of students, professors, administrators from across the country, from different backgrounds, from different parts of the country. And it was the first time any of us, at least, especially me, had ever encountered people with such different backgrounds. Having the ability to actually get along, build relationships, and problem solve together with these people is a skill that has served me well to this very day. And finally, confidence. Confidence in my ability to take any situation and tackle it. Nothing stands up to a fluid mechanics class at IIT Kanpur when I think about it, whether it's grad school, work, or any other situation. So IIT Kanpur helped me solve problems, build relationships, and build a deep sense of self-confidence in myself. Thank you. Finally, I want to send a thank you to some of the key people in my life. To my parents who supported my decision to go to IIT Kanpur, my subsequent decision to come to the US for grad school, and without whose blessings and support, none of this would be possible. To my wife Tamara and my kids Ari and Natasha, whose love supports and sustains me through every obstacle and challenge. And to all those people who've taken me under their wing and taken a bet on me and supported me as I progressed up in my career and life. You know who you are. I wouldn't be here without any of you today. Finally, I want to reiterate that it's a privilege to be an IITK alum. It's a privilege I do not take lightly. I am honored to be here. I'm honored to be an alumni, and I'm looking forward to continuing to represent this incredible institution in the world and to help IIT Kanpur continue to shape the lives and minds of promising youngsters every single day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The next name in this category is Professor Mukul M. Sharma. I would like to request Head of Chemical Engineering, Professor Animanshu Ghatak, to read the citation for the awardee.
Professor Mukul M. Sharma received his bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1980 and subsequently earned an MS degree in chemical engineering in 1981 and doctorate in petroleum engineering from University of Southern California in 1985. Professor Mukul M. Sharma is a professor and holds the W.A. Tex Moncrief Jr. Centennial Chair in the Hildebrand Department of Petroleum and Geosystems Engineering at the University of Texas at Austin. He has been a faculty member at the University of Texas for the last 34 years and served as chairman of the department from 2001 to 2005. Professor Sharma's research interests include hydraulic fracturing, oil-filled water management, formation damage, and improved oil recovery. He has published more than 400 journal articles and conference proceedings and has 21 patents in his name. Professor Sharma founded Austin Geotech Services, an E&P consulting company in 1996. He also co-founded Leyline Petroleum in 2006 and Navidad Energy in 2017. Professor Sharma's prolific career made him the recipient of many awards and honors. Apart from being a member of the US National Academy of Engineering, he is also the recipient of the 2017 John Franklin Curl Award and the 2009 Lucas Gold Medal, Society of Petroleum Engineers highest technical awards. He has also received 2004 SPE Faculty Distinguished Achievement Award, the 2002 Lester C. Uren Award, and the 1998 SPE Formation Evaluation Award. He has served as an SPE Distinguished Lecturer in 2002 and on the editorial boards of many reputed journals. Honoring his work in the fields of hydraulic fracturing and oil-filled water management, IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Mukul M. Sharma the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2020.
Thank you once again. Now I request Professor Mukul M. Sharma to say a few words to us.
Hello, I'm Mukul Sharma. I was very pleasantly surprised to learn that I had been selected to this very prestigious award of Distinguished Alumnus for IIT Kanpur. I would say that I wasn't expecting it the least bit. I'm not sure who nominated me or what the process is, but I want to thank whoever nominated me and all the people that were in charge of making the selection for selecting me for this high honor. I will say that my journey, unlike a lot of the honorees here, has had some twists and turns and some unexpected surprises. And it's been a learning process of self-discovery for me over the past 40 odd years since I joined IIT Kanpur. When I graduated from high school in Lucknow, I wasn't sure if I wanted to join engineering or be a history major in Delhi University. And fortunately, I joined IIT Kanpur and had a wonderful 5-year stay there. Similarly, when I finished Kanpur, I joined Hindustan Lever and turned down all my scholarships to go to the US. And here I am, 40 years after graduation, sitting in the US. So when I finished my PhD, I wasn't sure if I wanted to work in the industry. I had offers from Chevron and from Mobil and some of the major chemical and oil companies at the time. And instead, I chose to come to the University of Texas at Austin. A great decision. And I will say that these forks in the road have led me to fully appreciate how uncertain life can be and how these choices that we make can go a long ways in finally determining how you make your career. I have been very fortunate to be associated with some wonderful people. My 5 years at IIT Kanpur were absolutely some of the most formative years of my life, both in terms of academics and in terms of my personal growth. The people there, whether it was in the classroom with professors in chemical engineering, my thesis advisors, Professor Gandhi, and some of the very, very fine teachers there, Professor Anil Kumar, Professor Kunjru, Professor Bhattacharya, there was a whole slew of people there that had that taught us very well. And so thank you all for your for educating us in chemical engineering. I was probably known more for my skills on the badminton court in IIT Kanpur than for anything else in academics. But I was fortunate enough to keep up with my academics and do reasonably well. I will say that this combination of doing both academics and sports is only possible at an institution like IIT, where going for inter-IIT meets was the highlight of the end of the year. We built the badminton court that now exists in IIT Kanpur with a friend of mine, Manu Lal, who's actually on the faculty at Columbia now University, head of the civil engineering program, and a whole bunch of other classmates and friends who we had so much fun together. Have fond memories of this place. So thank you again very, very much for this very high honor of Distinguished Alumnus. I'm deeply grateful for this recognition and for the wonderful 5 years that I had at Kanpur. So thank you again, and I congratulate all the other recipients of this Distinguished Alumnus Award for this year. And of course, I looked at the list of the past years, and it's a truly distinguished group of people. So I'm very honored to be part of this group. Thank you again. And I wish Kanpur all the best. I wish we were all present in person to attend this ceremony. I would have really looked forward to that. I've only been back to campus twice in the last 40 years, and I would certainly like to come back when things settle down a little bit with the COVID situation. So thank you again, and all the best to the students and the faculty at IIT Kanpur. And I look forward to seeing the chemical engineering program grow and flourish, and I look forward to coming back and visiting again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts with us. The next name in this category is retired Air Marshal Raj Karan Singh Shera. I would like to request Head of Electrical Engineering, Professor Rajesh Hegde, to read the citation for the awardee.
Air Marshal Raj Karan Singh Shera, retired, received his MTech degree in electrical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1980. He is a retired air officer, Commanding in Chief Maintenance Command, Indian Air Force. He previously served as the Air Officer in Charge, Maintenance of the Indian Air Force Maintenance Wing, and also as a Senior Maintenance Staff Officer at the Headquarter Maintenance Command. Air Marshal RKS Shera is an alumnus of the prestigious National Defense College, Fellow of the Institute of Engineers, Institute of Electronics and Telecommunication and Aeronautical Society of India, besides being the member of the Computer Society of India. Air Marshal RKS Shera was posted to a combat squadron, the first squadron to get converted to MiG-29. With his professional approach, he efficiently handled the complex task of setting up the first MiG-29 squadron DSS. The proof of his efforts, especially in terms of planning and organizing, was evident from the fact that within no time the squadron could commence operations in an organized fashion. He was also instrumental in the pioneering work of making the first line servicing schedules and the ORP procedures. Honoring his stellar contributions in developing and implementing innovative modern techniques and procedures for servicing modern aircraft, including the MiG-29 aircraft in the Indian Air Force, IIT Kanpur confers upon Air Marshal RKS Shera the Distinguished Alumnus Award of the year 2020.
Thank you, sir. And now I would like to request retired Air Marshal Raj Karan Singh Shera to say a few words to us.
Dear friends, it's indeed a matter of immense pride and an honor to receive the Alumnus Award from Institute of Kanpur, where I had the opportunity to study for 2 years of my master's degree in electrical engineering. I'm thankful to the director and the entire selection committee to find me worthy of this prestigious award of Institute of Kanpur. I recall my days at the institute with profound memories of hard work and efforts which we had to put in as defense officers as we joined the institute for masters after a gap of 6 to 7 years since passing out from our BTech program. I'm thankful to the entire faculty. In particular, I'm thankful to our guides, Dr. R.N. Biswas, Dr. Anil Mahanta, for guiding us. In fact, 2 of us who did the project on systolic array processor was a hardware project which had to be put in with lots of efforts. After passing out from IIT Kanpur, I joined back in the MiG-29 fleet at Pune, where I had the opportunity to work on a lot of innovative projects. The innovative concepts which we had learned in IIT Kanpur were so handy that I could successfully indigenize a number of self-reliant projects. In particular, I always remember and cherish the MiG-29 flight data recorder and analysis system, which not only served this fleet but also became a benchmark for other fighter fleets of Indian Air Force. In my 39 years of career in the Indian Air Force, I had opportunity to tenet best of the assignments and handle state-of-the-art technologies of aviation systems which were based on the niche and cutting-edge technologies of aviation engineering. I must confess, it would not have been possible without the knowledge which I gained at the institute. So I am always proud of this great institute where we had learned a great deal. In the end, I once again thank the director and his selection committee to consider me worthy of this award and recognize my successful career in the Indian Air Force. Thank you, and God bless the Great Institute of Technology, Kanpur.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your experience with us. The next name in this category is Mr. Ranjan Tandon. I would like to request Head of Mechanical Engineering, Professor Sameer Khandekar, to read the citation for the awardee.
Mr. Ranjan Tandon received his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1972 and an MBA from Harvard School of Business in 1977. He is the founder and chairman of Libra Advisors LLC. Mr. Tandon has endowed professorships at Harvard Business School in Leadership and Yale University in Hindu Studies. He is on the board of New York University Tandon School of Engineering, Arbor Gen Holdings Limited, Vostok Emerging Finance Limited, and Carl Schurz Park Conservancy. Mr. Tandon is known for his philanthropy. He made a significant gift to the New York University School of Engineering to support excellence in academics and to foster innovation and entrepreneurship. In recognition of the generosity, the school was renamed as NYU Tandon School of Engineering. Mrs. and Mr. Tandon has also actively supported other institutions, including the Lincoln Center and the Berkeley School of Music. Honoring his stellar contributions in promoting and contributing towards the expansion of the field of engineering and philanthropic services, IIT Kanpur confers upon Mr. Ranjan Tandon the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2020.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. Ranjan Tandon to say a few words.
I cherish the memories of IIT, even though I must admit it was not all fun. The academic work was challenging for me during my first 2 years. However, the silver lining is I got some important life lessons. First, make friends with people smarter than you. At Kanpur, this was not so difficult. Second, do not forget to have fun. Sports, cultural activities, even philosophy classes are all available. And third, follow core principles such as good health, hard work, kindness, and gratitude. These are all a part of our Indian upbringing. These lessons learnt at IIT continued to help me in my subsequent life. At graduate school in the US, I was initially shy. However, I soon realized that I had dealt with some very intelligent people at IIT, and this gave me some inner confidence. I have also been extremely fortunate to have Chandika as my life partner and guide. She is undeniably much smarter and talented than I am. For the last 30 years, I have been in the investment business in New York. Success in this field requires a lot of luck and some intelligence. Of equal importance is to maintain emotional balance. All of you have access to Indian practices such as yoga, meditation, and prayer. Please make these a part of your daily life. I am honored and grateful to receive the Distinguished Alumnus Award. Thank you, governors, deans, and members of the selection committee. Thank you.
And now I would like to extend our heartiest congratulations to the recipients of the Distinguished Alumnus Awards. Moving on, I would like to request Professor Jayant Singh, Dean Resources and Alumni, to kindly introduce the Distinguished Service Awards.
Our second category of awards is the Distinguished Service Award, which is awarded to alumni who have acted as IIT Kanpur's goodwill ambassadors and have helped raise the stature of the institute.
The first name in this category is Professor Rajendra Bordia. I would like to invite Head of Mechanical Engineering, Professor Samir Khandekar, to read the citation of the awardee.
Professor Rajendra Bordia received his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1979 and subsequently earned his MS degree in 1981 and doctorate in 1986 from Cornell University in Material Science and Engineering. Professor Bordia is currently the George J. Bishop III Professor of Material Science and Engineering Department at Clemson University. Before joining the Clemson University, Professor Bordia was a faculty member in the Material Science and Engineering Department at the University of Washington from 1998 to 2005. He was the chairman of his department at University of Washington. He worked as a research scientist in the Central Research and Development of DuPont Company from 1986 to 1991. Professor Bordia's research work lies at the intersection of materials and mechanics and is focused on fundamental and applied studies in the processing and properties of complex material systems for energy, environmental, and medical applications. He has authored over 170 peer-reviewed technical publications. His scholarly contributions have been recognized by a broad range of national and international awards and professional society fellowships. Professor Bordia has been a dedicated alumnus of IIT who has contributed in a variety of ways, including mentoring of IIT Kanpur students and faculty, participation in joint research projects, and serving as a member of IIT Foundation Board. The most significant contribution came in the year 2008 when he founded the IIT Kanpur Research and Academic Alumni Network, Kiran. The goal and activities of this network have been to deeply engage a large number of IIT Kanpur alumni who are in research and academic positions around the world and in IIT Kanpur. The focal areas of this network are to support the recruitment of faculty members at IIT Kanpur, provide mentoring and research opportunities to IIT faculty and students, and engagement of Kiran members in research and teaching at IIT Kanpur. The network currently has more than 100 members. Honoring his dedicated and tireless service to this alma mater, IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Rajendra Bordia the Distinguished Service Award of the year 2020.
Thank you, sir. I would like to request Professor Rajendra Bordia to say a few words.
Dear members of IIT academic leadership team, faculty, students, alumni, and distinguished guests, I am honored and humbled and extremely pleased to accept this award. My special thanks to Professor Ram Mishra for nominating me for this award and to the Distinguished Award Selection Committee for selecting me. I also thank my family for supporting my engagement with IIT through the years. More than 45 years ago, when I first set foot on this campus, I was blown away by everything about the institute. However, then I did not know what a deeply transformative effect this institution will have on me. In those 5 years, I made a great set of friends who have supported and continued to be close to me ever since. I also got the best possible education, and most importantly, IIT showed me the path towards a wonderful career as a faculty member that I continue to thoroughly enjoy. You may have heard of the Japanese concept of ikigai, which means a reason for living. In terms of careers, it states that an ideal career is a combination of 4 elements: First, what you love to do. Second, what you're good at. Next, what the world needs. And fourth, what you can get paid for. In observing my brother, who was a faculty member at the Indian School of Mines, and several faculty members at IIT, I knew that academia would be my ikigai. I want to especially thank Professor Vijay Gupta. It was my good fortune that I got a chance to know him and work closely with him as a student. He and other faculty members showed me what a transformative effect good education and dedicated professors can have on the lives of their students. Professor Gupta remains my role model to this day, and I continue to aspire to be like him. I graduated in 1979 and visited as an alum for the first time in 1996. Professor Gupta, who was then the Dean of Academic Affairs, discussed with me at length the various ways in which I could get engaged with IIT Kanpur. This was the beginning of this next phase of my engagement with my alma mater, which continues to this day. In 2007, I spent more than 6 months at the Institute. I thank Professor Bikramjit Basu for letting me be a part of his research group. During this time, with strong support from Dean Sudhir Jain and Director Sanjay Thande, I launched Kanpur IIT Research and Academic Alumni Network, or KIRAN, as a mechanism to deeply engage IITK's alumni in the educational and research activities of the Institute. This network now has more than 100 members, and it was especially effective when Professor Manindra Agarwal was the Dean RPG. During those years, IITK Foundation and its visionary leaders like Abhay Bhushan, Deepak Bhagat, Ram Mishra, and Rakesh Sharma provided strong support to Kiran. In closing, I will cherish this award most since it is from my alma mater, for which I am eternally grateful and for which I have enormous love and respect. I look forward to continued engagement at the highest level with the Institute, and thank you very much again for this award.
Thank you, sir. And the next name in this category is Professor Shivendra Singh Pawar. I would like to invite Head of Electrical Engineering, Professor Rajesh Hegde, to read the citation of the awardee.
Professor Shivendra Singh Pawar received his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1981 and subsequently earned his MS and PhD degrees in electrical and computer engineering from the University of Massachusetts in Amherst in 1983 and 1986 respectively. Professor Pawar is a professor in the Electrical and Computer Engineering Department at the Tandon School of Engineering of New York University. He joined the Department of Electrical Engineering at the Polytechnic Institute of New York, Brooklyn, which is now called the Tandon School of Engineering, New York University. He is currently the director of the New York State Center for Advanced Technology in Telecommunications and the faculty director of the New York City Media Lab. He was a visiting scientist at the IBM T.J. Watson Research Center, Yorktown Heights in 1987, and has been a consultant to the AT&T Bell Labs. Professor Pawar has also served as the Secretary of the Technical Affairs Council of the IEEE ComSoc. Professor Pawar specializes in performance analysis and design of networks, cooperative wireless networks, switch performance, and multimedia transport over networks. Professor Pawar has been a dedicated supporter of IIT Kanpur for more than a decade, and he played an instrumental role in facilitating the NYU IIT Kanpur joint degree program, leading to the signing of this collaboration. He continues to remain deeply involved in making the research association between NYU and IIT Kanpur a success by motivating various stakeholders to actively participate in this program. Honoring his stellar contribution for supporting the Institute's efforts in fostering research excellence and in augmenting and supporting the Institute's efforts in its expansion and growth, IIT Kanpur confirms upon Professor Shivendra Pawar the Distinguished Services Award of the year 2020.
Thank you, sir. I would like to request Professor Shivendra Singh Pawar to share his thoughts with us.
Thank you for this great honor. In particular, I would like to thank my anonymous nominator, the committee that picked me, the IIT Kanpur board, and last but not least, Director Abhay Karandikar. I would like to congratulate the graduating class and wish them great success in their future career. Congratulations to all those winning medals today. I would also like to take this opportunity to urge the graduating class to help IIT Kanpur in their future career. Like all educational institutions, it is the alumni who play a key role in making it great. You can start modestly and then build up. In my case, I had some money left over from a corporate research grant. My institution, New York University, allows us to use this money for any research purpose. I could have bought myself a laptop or gone on a conference, but I decided instead to support a summer intern from IIT Kanpur. This went well, and I convinced many of my colleagues to do the same. And at this point, we have supported over 100 summer interns from IIT Kanpur. The relationship between NYU and IIT Kanpur also developed over this period. In fact, at this point, we now have a dual PhD degree between IIT Kanpur and NYU. In fact, Soumyadeep Datta, who won the Director's Gold Medal this year, congratulations on Soumyadeep, will be joining this program. So I urge you to start small and then build up from there. IIT Kanpur is your alma mater. Alma mater literally means nourishing mother. To keep your alma mater nourishing the next generation of students, she needs your help. Thank you.
Heartiest congratulations to the recipients of the Distinguished Service Award. Well, ladies and gentlemen, taking the function forward, I request Professor Jayant Singh to kindly introduce the Young Alumnus Awards.
We now move to the third category of awards, the Young Alumnus Award, which aims to recognize our alumni under the age of 40 who have distinguished themselves in their chosen area of expertise.
The first name in this category is Mr. Abhiraj Singh Bhal. I would like to invite Head of Electrical Engineering, Professor Rajesh Hegde, to read the citation of the awardee.
Mr. Abhiraj Singh Bhal received his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 2009 and subsequently earned a postgraduate diploma in management from IIM Ahmedabad in 2011. He is the co-founder and CEO of Urban Company, formerly known as Urban Clap, that was launched in 2014. It is the largest home services platform in India and the United Arab Emirates, with recent expansion to Australia and Singapore. The platform helps customers book reliable home services. Since its inception, Urban Company has delivered more than 14 million service orders across 22 cities through a fleet of nearly 30,000 service professionals. Prior to starting his own business venture, Mr. Bhal was a consultant with the Boston Consulting Group, advising Fortune 500 companies across India, Germany, and Southeast Asia. Mr. Bhal's excellent entrepreneurial leadership and skills have won him numerous awards, such as IIMA Young Alumni Achievers Award 2020 in Entrepreneurship, the Entrepreneur of the Year Award 2020 by NASSCOM Technology and Leadership Forum, Fortune 40 and Under 40, 3 years in a row. Entrepreneur Magazine's 35 and Under 35 for India in 2017, and GQ 50 Most Influential Young Indians in 2017. He is the co-chair of the CII E-Commerce Council, on the Investment Committee of ACT Grants, on the Governing Council of the Domestic Workers Sector Skill Council, and part of various policy initiatives of the central government, particularly in the domain of skilling and entrepreneurship. honoring his excellent work in the field of entrepreneurship, IIT Kanpur confirms upon Mr. Abhiraj Singh Bal the Young Alumnus Award of the year 2020.
Thank you, sir. And I request Mr. Abhiraj Singh Bhal to say a few words to us.
Hello, everyone. I take this opportunity to thank the entire IIT Kanpur fraternity, including the director, the deans, the faculty, the students, and the alumni of IIT Kanpur for conferring me the 2020 Young Professionals Award. I take this opportunity to thank my co-founder Varun, who is also my batchmate and classmate from IIT Kanpur and deserves this award significantly more than I do, for his friendship and his partnership in helping me build Urban Company. I also thank Raghav, who's my co-founder, my family, my wife Urvi, and countless other supporters, including my parents, my friends, and the various employees of Urban Company who have helped us build Urban Company. IIT Kanpur is a very important and special institution for me. The 4 years that I spent at IIT Kanpur were formative. They helped me build a strong work ethic, a strong value system, and more than anything else, they gave me friends for life. I will always look back at the fond memories that I was able to form at the institution, and I look to remain connected with the institution and be a part of its growth in the years to come. Once again, I thank everyone for giving me this very, very prestigious award, more than I deserve. And in particular, I would like to thank my co-founder Varun. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next name in this category is Dr. Barna Saha. I would like to invite Head of Computer Science and Engineering, Professor Mainak Chaudhary, once again to read the citation of the awardee.
Dr. Barna Saha received an MTech degree in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Kanpur in 2006 and subsequently obtained her doctorate in Computer Science from the University of Maryland at College Park in 2011. Dr. Barna Saha is an assistant professor at University of California, Berkeley, Department of Industrial Engineering and Operations Research, and an affiliate faculty at Simons Institute for the Theory of Computing. Before joining UC Berkeley, she was on the faculty of the University of Massachusetts at Amherst from 2014 to 2019 and was a research scientist at AT&T Shannon Laboratories from 2011 to 2014. Dr. Saha specializes in span algorithm design and analysis, discrete optimization, probability, and foundational aspects of large-scale data management. She particularly enjoys working on problems of practical importance that can lead to development of new beautiful theory. She is the co-founder of Theoretical Computer Science Women Organization and is an active proponent of diversity and equity in engineering disciplines. Dr. Saha is the recipient of many awards, such as National Science Foundation's Career Award in 2017, a Sloan Fellowship in 2019, and a Presidential Early Career Awards for Scientists and Engineers in 2019. Honoring her work in the field of algorithm design and analysis, discrete optimization and probability, IIT Kanpur confers upon Dr. Barna Saha the Young Alumnus Award of 2020.
I request Dr. Barna Saha to say a few words to us.
First, I would like to thank my alma mater IIT Kanpur, Director Professor Abhay Kanandikar, and the selection committee for the Young Alumnus Award 2020. I'm extremely happy and honored to receive this prestigious award. I have very fond memories of IIT Kanpur days. I made some of my best friends there, got to take excellent classes, and learned for the first time what it means to do research. It was definitely a stepping stone in my career. There are many people who have helped me, supported me in my journey so far. I'm thankful to all of them. I was very lucky to have Professor Samikullah from University of Maryland College Park as my PhD advisor. I was never a confident person, and it's all to Sami's credit that he helped me believe that I can do it. I think everyone needs such a person in their life. I owe a lot to him. My parents, my sister Donna, she's a doctor and just finished 14 days of intensive ICU COVID duty. My brother Abhijit, he's an ISRO scientist. They're a constant source of happiness and positivity in my life. I have met many great teachers in my career, obviously, but still, nobody compares to my mom. During my entire schooling, she taught me from literature to science, everything. And it's probably because of my dad and his love for research that I'm in the academia. Finally, last but not the least, my husband, Arjun Majumdar. He's also an IIT alumni, and we shared almost the same career path. Because of that, this journey never felt strenuous or stressful. It was always fun. And my 8-year-old son, Arano, without their love and support, I couldn't have done anything. I still remember when my son was 3 or 4 years old, he would say, I want to do algorithm. What he means, he wants to do algorithm. Though he is very young, he knows when mama is working, trying to solve a problem, he needs to give me the space to work. What else can I ask for? I'm really truly grateful to them. Thank you. Thank you again, IIT Kanpur. It's a great honor. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. I join the Institute in congratulating the recipients of the Young Alumnus Award. Ladies and gentlemen, for this segment, once again, I would request Professor Jayant Singh, Dean of Resources and Alumni, to kindly introduce the prestigious Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Award.
Now we move to the fourth category of awards, Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Award. Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Award was instituted by IIT Kanpur in the memory of its alumni, Mr. Satyendra K. Dubey, who sacrificed his life while upholding the integrity and dignity of his profession. This award is conferred every year to any alumnus of any IIT who has distinguished himself or herself by displaying the highest professional integrity in upholding human values.
This year's Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Awardee is Mr. Kumar Ravi. Now I request Head of Electrical Engineering, Professor Rajesh Hegre, to read the citation of the awardee.
Mr. Kumar Ravi received his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 2001. Mr. Kumar Ravi hails from Nalanda in Bihar and currently serves as the District Magistrate of Patna, Bihar. He has been the District Magistrate of Patna since January 2018. He started his career as a VLSI engineer in a multinational company, Transwitch India in New Delhi. He was then selected in the Indian Revenue Services in the Civil Service Exam 2003 and joined as Assistant Commissioner of Income Tax. Later, he was also selected in the Indian Administrative Services batch of 2005 and joined as the Assistant Collector in the Bihar cadre. Mr. Ravi has been instrumental in dealing with the 2008 floods at Supaul district of Bihar. As a District Magistrate Supaul, he ensured that all relief and rehabilitation schemes announced by the state government were implemented in letter and spirit. Mr. Ravi also ensured that the elections, Assembly by-elections in 2009, Assembly elections in 2010, Panchayat elections in 2011, and PACS elections in 2012 are held free and fair in Bihar. During his tenure as the District Magistrate in Darbhanga district, he created a peaceful environment devoid of communal tension. Mr. Ravi was also posted in Gaya and helped in bringing normalcy in many violence-hit areas of Gaya district. He was pivotal in handling flood situations with great ease in Patna. He also launched successful encroachment removal drives, bringing a paradigm shift in traffic management and infrastructure development. Honoring his exemplary service to humanity and his unbending integrity in upholding human values while serving as the district magistrate of Patna, Gaya, Darbhanga, and Supol districts in Bihar. IIT Kanpur confirms upon Mr. Kumar Ravi the Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Award for the year 2020.
Thank you, sir. And now I would like to request Mr. Kumar Ravi to say a few words to us.
Dear Chief Guest, Sir, Director, Sir, Dean of Resources and Alumni Chapter, all the awardees and all the distinguished guests. First and foremost, I want to thank the Alumni Association and IIT Kanpur for this special award and express my gratitude to all my friends and colleagues who had so much trust in me and as nominators chosen me for this award. It is such an honor to be selected as a recipient of this prestigious Satyendra Kumar Dubey Award. I pay my heartfelt tribute to the brave personality in whose name this award has been constituted after his supreme sacrifice. I honestly feel that I have done little which would really reward me with such an incredible honor. But getting recognition from my own beloved and prestigious alma mater IIT Kanpur means world to me. I have had so many wonderful and inspirational people in my life that have helped me along my path, who have inspired me to push myself, to reach further, to work harder, to help others, to bring empathy in administration, to work with zeal, to uphold human values with integrity and honesty, and to raise a bar for others. I have been district magistrate in Supol, Darbhanga, Gaya and Patna districts of Bihar. The most common question in UPSC interview to an IITian always used to be like why IITians should come to IAS and other civil services and whether it would not be a waste of precious engineering talent. After 15 years of service in IAS, I feel that being an IITian has made me to think logically, to work professionally and to have belief in merit and democratic values and to uphold human values with integrity. All these formal and informal learnings at IIT have been great help in coming out of several crises and conflicts during my professional career so far. So an IITian entering into civil service is not a waste of talent, rather an IITian is a true asset in government service. On this occasion, I'd like to thank my family members, my wife Rashmi and kids Ekans and Ihita, who have wholeheartedly supported me on my arduous journey. I'd like to thank all my friends and well-wishers who had trust in my achievements and nominated me for this prestigious award. I thank the Alumni Association and IIT Kanpur for this great honor. At the end, I'd like to extend my best wishes to whole IIT Kanpur family on its foundation day today. I would have loved to come to campus on this memorable occasion, but due to COVID restrictions, it could not happen. I wish that I would get a chance very soon to visit the lovely campus with my family. Thanks to everyone. Namaste to all. Jai Hind.
On behalf of the Institute and also personally, I congratulate all the awardees and wish them many more laurels in times to come. I'm sure they will keep the IIT Kanpur flag flying high always. I would also like to convey our congratulations and best wishes to their families. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request Professor S. Ganesh, Deputy Director IIT Kanpur, to kindly introduce and invite our chief guest of the day, Professor K. Vijayaraghavan, Principal Scientific Advisor, Government of India, for his address.
It's my pleasure to introduce Professor K. Vijayaraghavan, the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, as the chief guest for the 61st Institute Foundation Day of IIT Kanpur. Professor Vijayaraghavan graduated with Bachelor of Technology degree in 1975 and Master of Technology degree in Chemical Engineering in 1977, both from IIT Kanpur. He completed his PhD in 1983 in the field of molecular biology from the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. After his postdoctoral training at the California Institute of Technology, USA, Professor Vijayaraghavan joined the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research as an independent faculty in the year 1988. He was instrumental in establishing the National Center for Biological Sciences, popularly known as NCBS, in Bengaluru, and was its director until 2013. He is a distinguished scientist in the field of developmental genetics. His field of specialization are developmental biology, genetics, and neurogenetics. His research interests primarily focus on the important principles and mechanisms that control nervous system and muscle development, and how these neuromuscular system direct specific locomotor behavior. Professor Vijayaraghavan has served in multiple positions, both academic and administrative roles. He is the serving principal scientific advisor to the Government of India since 2018. Earlier, he served as the Secretary of the Department of Biotechnology, Government of India. Professor Vijayaraghavan is a member of Board of Governors of the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology and a senior editor of the prestigious journal eLife. Professor Vijayaraghavan has been bestowed with numerous honors and recognitions. To name a few, he is a J.C. Bose Fellow of the Department of Science and Technology. He gave the J.C. Bose Memorial Lecture at the Royal Society in 2010. He was awarded the inaugural Infosys Prize in Life Science in the year 2009, the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize in 1998, and is a distinguished alumnus of IIT Kanpur, our institute's highest honor. He is a fellow of all the 3 science academies of our country and an associate member of the European Molecular Biology Organization and a fellow of the Royal Society. He was awarded Padma Shri in the year 2013 by the Government of India. Indeed, it's a great honor and privilege for IIT Kanpur to invite and welcome Professor K. Vijayaraghavan as the chief guest for its 61st Institute Foundation Day celebration.
Chairman of the Board of Governors, Dr. Radhakrishnan, Director IIT Kanpur, Dr. Abhay Karandikar, Deans, faculty members, students, staff, and everyone associated with IIT Kanpur on the 61st Foundation Day. It's a great pleasure and honor for me to be here today. I wish I were there in person for a variety of reasons. In 1970, as a 16-year-old, I came to Kanpur and I was astounded by the welcoming atmosphere over there. It was the first time away from home, yet faculty members, students, the canteen staff, the mess workers, everyone else treated the new coming students as friends and part of a family. Indeed, this informal atmosphere permeated through all the lectures and the laboratories. The faculty members were then only slightly older than final year students, and the atmosphere was informal and one of a desire to learn and a feeling that anything could be done. This was a very invigorating atmosphere compared to what I heard about colleges and universities elsewhere in the country. Today, we have many IITs, many other colleges, and many universities in the country, and many of them have learned that the culture of the place, the environment, the atmosphere are as important, sometimes even more important than what you teach. I will very briefly summarize 4 different aspects of what I think are important about IIT Kanpur going ahead. The first is what I've alluded to a little bit, the past. The second is about the present and what we need to do in this current situation. The third is about the future and how we can do what we need to do. And finally, what the role of alumni in particular needs to be. IIT Kanpur's past was very special because it grew up in a partnership through the Kanpur Indo-American program through a consortium of US universities. In that way, it was distinctive from all the other IITs. And it had a very special environment, which was the envy of all the other IITs, and I've alluded to that a little bit. But that informal environment had another very important characteristic. Even though we were trained as electrical engineers or chemical engineers or mechanical engineers, there were some important features of our education which stood out. The first 3 years of a 5-year program, we had what is called an engineering science program, which combined both basic science, physics, chemistry, mathematics, but also we learned engineering in every other discipline, including what we were supposed to specialize in. So we had programs in electrical engineering, in mechanical engineering, in chemical engineering, in fluid mechanics, no matter what you did. This meant that when you went to your 4th and 5th year and took your departmental courses, you could actually go out in the world in theory and do anything you wanted. In theory. In practice, there was something very interesting which happened. Lectures were not compulsory to attend, and tutorials were also, attendance was very poorly enforced. The grading system was such that you could do a reasonable job throughout the semester and get by reasonably well. And therefore, this resulted in a very strange situation where many of us didn't go to many of the lectures where we would have learnt a lot, surely, but hung out in canteens and discussed and talked all sorts of things, including the lectures, with those who came back from attending the lectures and those who were very rigorous. So the community was divided broadly into two sets of people: those who did a lot of hard work and attended the lectures and understood everything, or were so brilliant that they didn't need to attend the lectures, and others who stayed in the canteens most of the time and interacted with these people. These mixture of these two sets of people, those who were gregarious and who interacted with society at large and didn't pay attention to their studies sufficiently, and others who paid a lot of attention, resulted in a friendship and a camaraderie which has lasted for decades since people graduated. The result of that is that this community has a deep bonding, and whenever something needs to be done, they can call on each other to do it. But also they have a sense of daring, that they have friends who know everything or friends who know something very well whom they can call. And this has actually been very, very important for IIT Kanpur and indeed for colleges such as this all over the world. The result of this bonding was also something else, that because we interacted a lot with each other, including with postgraduate students, importantly, as undergraduates, we were exposed to research in a substantial way. Many students then, and I'm sure now also, work in research laboratories as during the summers as well as during the regular semesters. And this was, again, very, very important in allowing us to get a sense of the real world. It has been said that many of our engineers don't learn engineering because of this. They actually learn science and are not very suitable as engineers. Now, these kinds of opinions, be that as they may, they can be actually tested historically to see what kinds of jobs graduates have taken. And indeed, it is very impressive to see that while, as the apocryphal stories would have it, many people finish IIT Kanpur engineering courses and go on to do management and take on management roles. Many, many people have gone on to take hardcore engineering jobs and have done really well. With the advent of science courses in the undergraduate areas, many have done really well and they've gone on to become really top quality physicists, chemists, biologists, and so on. So IIT Kanpur overall has done well, but today it faces extraordinary challenges. Because of its location in Kanpur, that's part of the reason, but also because other institutions, other cities have come up really well, the competitiveness of IIT Kanpur compared to the other IITs in particular and other institutions in general needs to be maintained. This is not just because one is in a race or any such thing. It's always nice to be at the top, but also it's important to challenge oneself constantly. So today we have a very important question. What can we do today to make IIT Kanpur the most attractive place? Indeed, each institution must ask of itself this question, but we in IIT Kanpur need to ask it and answer it in a very special context. One of the characteristics of many of our top institutions, the best ones, is that they can be said to be a short walk from India. They are islands of excellence, of quality. People from all over India come in, but the connectivity to the immediate outside is not substantial. This is not a peculiarity of IIT Kanpur. Indeed, it's a feature of top institutions all over the world. So it's not something to be particularly ashamed of. But given that we are in India and given the scale of the challenges India faces, it's important that IIT Kanpur addresses what is outside, and what is outside, both immediately outside and what is outside in the country in general. The challenges the country faces today, highlighted by the COVID pandemic, relate to climate change, biodiversity, and the environment in particular, but also to human habitation, cities, and quality of life. In all of these, there is extraordinary scope for engineers to work in substantial ways, not just in government programs, but in industry and in the private sector and in multiple areas. The reason I say that is the solutions to many of our problems lie in a combination of science, engineering, sociology, economics, and politics, and their intersection. And these intersections are very, very important. But at the heart of all these intersections are our ability to pay today for the cost of maintaining a quality environment. All too often, over the last few decades of the Industrial Revolution, we have postponed payment for costs which we incur by charging the environment or by affecting the climate or by affecting quality of life, and we push these costs onto future generations. The result is that we have quality goods at cheap prices today, but quality of life is very poor and the devastation of the environment is very high. This needs to be changed. So I'll come now to how we can change this. We can change this by doing 2 or 3 things together. First of all, we need to think a little broader beyond ourselves. Given that you have come into IIT Kanpur and given that you're, getting such a quality education, no matter what background we come from, we immediately become very, very privileged. No matter what happens, you're very likely to have a reasonable quality of life and a reasonable salary. So this gives us the opportunity to think beyond ourselves because our basal income is relatively assured. That and the network which we have by being from this place, from IIT Kanpur, affords a possibility of our doing wonderful things for the country and for the earth as a whole. And therefore, I would urge that we take on big missions of various kinds. The globe has seen in science and technology enormous big missions such as CERN, the Square Kilometre Array Telescope, the 30-meter telescope, the Laser Interferometric Gravitational Observatory, and all of these inspire us. But today, people from IIT Kanpur and IIT Kanpur itself must lead other kinds of missions. And these missions are of the following kind. First, a mission in biodiversity, understanding all the biodiversity in India, cataloging it, finding out how it is getting degraded, and how one can sustain it. This is not just a science problem. This is not just a stamp collecting problem, but because it involves human interaction, it involves the study of engineering, societies, science and technology, and everything else. In particular, the second part is a major mission on the Ganga. And that mission should look up not just cleaning the Ganga, but understanding its ecology, its origin, its spread, and its going into the seas, and understanding every aspect of this from a science, technology, sociology, and environmental aspects. These are big projects, these are global projects, but these are projects which IIT Kanpur can take up. The third aspect relates to health. Human health is much more complicated than only, and importantly of course, providing health care to everybody. But there are a huge number of preventive measures in lifestyle and understanding how the environment and our genetic background affects the progression of human disease and health. Now, this again is actually a combination of a science and engineering problem in multiple ways, and this too is something which we should take up. The final aspects of a big mission, I would suggest, is much more complicated, much more difficult, but eminently doable by an institute like IIT Kanpur, which is developing our cities into livable structures. Kanpur provides an extraordinary example. For those who have joined Kanpur in 1970 and go there again today, many aspects are different, but many aspects remain the same. The tempos have changed in their size and the way they are, where they are manufactured. There are shopping malls, but essentially the city hasn't changed at all. And this is a very big challenge. How does one change a city as complex as Kanpur to make it a modern city in which all its poorest citizens have a quality of life which is reasonable? And that's a responsibility we have. So this is an engineering, sociology, economics, political problem of a huge kind. And if this is taken on as a global mission in a similar manner to what a high energy physics global mission is taken up or an astronomy mission is taken up, it will take time. It'll be an ongoing project forever. But this will be a symbol of how cities can change for the better, and it'll be a model to be emulated all over the world. Finally, all of this cannot happen unless we have our alumni participating fully. One of the interesting features of our alumni early on, when the institute was young, in the 70s and 80s, most alumni were young, and even when they did well and when they became rich, they were ambitious and thinking more about themselves. These same people, when they're much older, are much more self-confident, much more generous, and yet come with a huge amount of wisdom and experience. So it's not that they just give, but they also come as excellent managers. So tapping alumni for multiple roles as managers, as donors, as people who can get the best minds to come and interact from all over the world will allow these big missions to fructify and do well. Kanpur is a place which has got a heart. I mean, it's a city. The city has a heart, it is generous, it is loving, it welcomes people from everywhere. This is contrary to the general impression outside about Kanpur. IIT Kanpur also is a very, very special place, and I say this not because I'm an alumnus of IIT Kanpur, but having visited other institutions all over the country and indeed all over the world, the community of IIT Kanpur has within it a special bonding which you rarely see anywhere else in the world. This combination of being a city which has a heart but which needs change, of all the attitudes you have inside IIT Kanpur, and a fantastic community of alumni means that any problem is solvable. Thank you very much.
It is my great pleasure to extend a vote of thanks to all those who helped us directly and indirectly in making this event a success. Our sincere thanks go to the Media Technology Center in making this video. We would also like to thank the Office of Dean of Research and Alumni, the Office of Dean of Faculty Affairs, and the Directorate. Lastly, our sincere appreciation goes to Mrs. Vatsala Mishra, Mrs. Amravati Vishwas, Dr. Devanand Pathak, and Bodhi Group of IIT Kanpur for their contribution in this event.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to congratulate all the awardees and their families. And now, with this, I would like to conclude today's function with the national anthem, which is sung by the Bodhi Group of IIT Kanpur. Thank you very much for taking out time from your busy schedules and sharing this occasion with us. Thank you very much once again, and have a good day.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।